Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sin Bin Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4. And we are live and direct with all the sinners in the house tonight. We got Sinner JP, also known as the Mexicans. Next up, we got Sinner, Mr. No Fact Check Saucedo, also known as Tyler. And of course, we got Sinner Tony, a.k.a. The Shiner. And welcoming back to the show for the first time, we got Mike, the infamous podcast snorer, Merryman. And I be your host, the toxic sinner, Moodz. Yeah. What's good, my Sinner-Scene scenes? Yeah.
Sinner-Scene.
Sinner-Scene scenes.
Around here.
What I do?
Oh, shit, that's so fucking funny.
Call this a little 2020.
Can't say that last part.
I think that's like the second
Say
time
it anyway.
Oh, shit, man. All right, man. What's going on, guys? Episode 4. And we got a brand new face to the show. We got Mr. Mike Merryman, of course, from podcast of No More Room in Hell, Fresh Cuts, and I'm sure a bunch of other ones. What other shows do you do, Mike? Still.
Those are like the main two. I do a Crystal Lake gift shop with Venom, where we go over the Friday the 13th TV series. So
It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's actually kind of fun revisiting them because most of those I haven't watched since I was a kid when it originally aired. So it's a cool concept of the show. Of course, not
Speaking
all
of the
cool.
show, I'm pretty sure Lar Park Lincoln it might be in an episode, or maybe that's Freddy's Nightmares. But didn't I just hear that she passed away?
Yeah, she passed away today.
That's
Sadly enough. And she was, 63 or something like that? So that's pretty young.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's kind of sad. Yeah. So Lar Park Lincoln, and she, of course, played in Friday the 13th, Part 7, the Carrie ripoff. She was the psychic. I was going to say the psycho. Tina. Yeah.
Had any of you guys met her?
No.
Mm-mm.
No, but she was even when she got older, she was really good looking still.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good looking. It's kind of sad though. I wonder how she passed away. I didn't look into it. Does anybody know? Probably maybe didn't come out.
I didn't even know until I saw in the chat that happened.
Actually, I think Mike mentioned it, and I just saw it posted 2 minutes before that. So,
Rest in peace to Lar Park Lincoln.
but it definitely seems
Little fun fact: that's where Linkin Park got their band name.
fuck. They know.
Yeah.
He did not.
That's not true.
Such a bullshitter. Such a bullshitter.
That's a Tyler fact right there.
How do you know that's not true?
Yeah, how do you know it's not true?
Because
Could
I
be true.
remember hearing where they actually got the band name, but I forget where it is. But it's not that.
Probably some actual Lincoln Park somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it
Probably
actually is.
something stupid.
No, I think it actually is. I think it
I
actually
know
is
there's
a
a
real
Lincoln
park.
Park in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know where those
but
guys
they
from,
just
but
I think they changed the. I assume they're from California somewhere, right? Mike might know that.
I'm not even 100% sure.
I feel like they seem.
They have
like
to.
a
They're super
California band.
California sounding.
Yeah, they just look California-y.
They sound more SoCal though than NorCal to me.
It would make sense because I'm pretty sure Shinoda's from there.
I don't know.
Because his
Yeah,
dad
I feel
because his dad immigrated
Yeah.
over from Japan, right? So it makes
'cause
sense.
if
He
you
just came
ever
across the
listen to
pond.
his Fort Minor album, he has that Kenji song
Yeah.
about the basically the camps that for Japanese people
Yeah.
during World War II or whatever.
Yeah.
Agora Hills, California.
Yeah, it does make sense.
See, I knew it. Fucking knew it.
Anyways, enough with Linkin Park. That was weird.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, Mike is the second ever guest. Obviously, we've had Dan on multiple times. But Mike is now a new face on the Sin Bin.
Literally the face. Look at that beard.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
I think it gets longer every time I see you.
We got Dawn of the Dead, we got Halloween 3, and we got Maniac Cop 2.
This
Quite an eclectic.
I've had these
there.
same two posters up forever because the room I record in, it's kind of like a room in transition because eventually it's going to be the bedroom of probably my older daughter. They just like sharing a bedroom right now, but once they split, this is gonna. So I'm like, I stopped like putting up posters and other memorabilia because I'm like, man, the more I put in now, like in a matter of months, I'm gonna have to tear it all down.
How old?
So
No, man, just keep it up for them. It
Yeah.
won't scare them. It won't keep them up
if
at
they
night.
want it. My
How old
oldest
are they?
is 13, and
Oh yeah,
my-
I'd give like a year.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
she's
A
13
year,
and she's still
she's probably, like,
wow, that's crazy.
get the hell
my
away
young-
from me.
Yeah, my youngest turns 10 in August, so they say they want to split up the room, and then when we start, okay, let's do it. And they're like, yeah, we kind of like because they like watching movies together at night, like when we go to bed. So
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, like me and my cousin, who was a year older than me, like we shared a bedroom till I was like, till he was like 16 or something.
I had so many.
I liked rooming with him. You know what I mean? That was my
You probably like it
bro.
if you're the younger one.
I just
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Like I don't think he really minded me either, though. I mean, I'm a bit annoying. you
dude,
guys
I
know
can't
that.
take this conversation serious, man. All that shit that came out with Kanye West and his cousin. You're sitting here talking about
Dude,
your
come
cousin,
on, bro.
sharing a room and shit. I'm
What did
like,
he do?
Dude,
I
thought
have
that
to
was
say-
like one of those like fake things that like is like a parody or
Dude.
something. I was like, went to his actual Twitter account and I was like, dude, what the
I looked
fuck?
into it too, and I was like, he motherfucking posted this shit, man. I'm like, this
What did
guy's
he
crazier
do?
than we all thought. But you know what
He
makes this
sucked his
post
cousin's dick for till he was like
15?
how old did he say?
16 or
Why would
15?
you
something.
tell it? Why would you tell anyone that?
I know
Because he's
That's what
fucking
I'm
crazy,
saying,
dude. He's
bro.
crazy. But you know
he
what?
goes
You know,
unhinged on Twitter a lot.
you know what the craziest thing about this post is though? Is it makes Trey Parker look even more
Genius
of a genius
Fish
because
sticks.
by calling him fucking, gay fish sticks and stuff, dude, this is the funniest shit ever coming out. Come on, man. Like I saw a couple memes after the fact and I was dying, man. And like South Park are literally geniuses.
dude,
They
how
know-
do you
they
come
know it.
back from that? That is like even if that did happen, like why the fuck would you ever like say it that
I don't know.
publicly ever?
He's off
Like-
his meds.
Like why?
He's
Well,
not-
that,
Yeah, he's just
Right.
wacko.
last
You can't
week.
even explain it.
Well, last week he was posting how he's a black Nazi and he's like supporting swastikas and shit. And this week he's telling people he's sucking his cousins. Like this guy's off the rails, bro. Like nobody, like you don't say this shit to anybody. If you're a black Nazi, you don't tell people that shit, right?
I think it's
Like,
like
it's just
I don't
crazy.
even know if that's possible.
I think it's like part trolling and then part just off his meds, and he's just
Yeah, like
going
if
cuckoo.
for the longest time I thought people were over like blowing like the whole Kanye crashing out.
Did you
thing.
just say blowing? Overblowing?
But like now I'm like,
Call
yeah,
back.
dude is definitely like lost it.
I mean, this has been going on for years though, man. He always comes
It
up.
has, but I
like-
thought he was mainly like just like being edgy and like
Yeah, an
anti
edgelord
stat,
troll
like
guy.
just like an edgelord like type of dude where he's just like has fuck you money, so he's just like trying to be like
Yeah, he does have
against
fuck
the
you
grain,
money,
you know,
and he doesn't need to do this shit. But this
now I
is
think he's actually crazy.
yeah, he's lost his shit, bro.
He's out to lunch.
He's
That
out
is
to fuck.
hilarious. I
He's
love it.
literally out to lunch, man.
Dude, he's out to
Eating
something.
fish sticks out
It's
to
a
lunch.
It's a lunch.
Yeah, I love
because
those.
he's been out there a long
Like
time.
this. It's so much fun.
I had a
Kanye's so funny.
Wild, bro.
Fuck, man, like the shit that the internet causes people to do and say is just it's beyond hilarity, man. It's amazing how our mentalities are just so desensitized and ruined by this shit, and people just think it's okay to be like that. I think, it's like a major fucking problem. Like,
Dude, I
there's
just
so much
can't.
shit I've done in my life. Like, I haven't, I didn't suck my cousin's dick, but like,
you want to confess?
but there's lots of
Yeah.
shit. I don't even
Well, that's
post.
good.
I don't
That's
even
good to know.
post like anything half personal. In fact, I don't post anything online anyways. But like the shit that people post, then is just like,
Yeah, there's like some embarrassing things that I've done
Man.
or have said or something in my life, but nothing that crazy, dude. Like,
No.
but I wouldn't even like there's stuff that I wouldn't share to even people I'm close with because it's just like embarrassing or
dude,
something.
I barely
but,
even
like,
share my real name with people. Like most
Right,
people don't even
yeah.
know like it's crazy. Like I don't like to talk about personal shit. Like people know I'm married and have a kid. And it is what it is. That's about the extent of it goes.
Right, yeah, that's some crazy shit, dude. Like,
It is crazy.
Take that shit to your grave, dog.
I just don't see like where you would gain from that. Like Kanye's always about like
Yeah,
in his
bro.
mind, he always does shit because he thinks it's going to benefit him. But that kind of shows like how insane he really is because he does say some outrageous shit, and you're just like, I don't understand how calling yourself a black Nazi and supporting Nazism is gonna help you with music when you do black music. Like, I just don't understand. Like, if anything, it's gonna fucking, make the situation worse and stuff. But his mind is just
like
it's different,
he's
man.
Literally alienated like every fucking like group and culture that there is at this point.
I know. Like, it doesn't even really make sense. I've never even heard of anyone.
And what sucks is he was like such a highly like praised. Like I never really like fucked with his music personally. Like some of his songs, and like some of the early stuff I liked a little bit, but as a producer and stuff, I liked his stuff a little bit more. But he was very respected and beloved by the hip hop community and just like pop culture fans in general. But he's like just really fucking.
Yeah, that's probably why he got the benefit of the doubt for so long. It's like, okay, dude said a couple crazy things, but
it's like it's just Kanye off his meds. Just
of course,
cutting
man.
Some slack.
When you're pumping out hits like that, not only for yourself, but producing like insanely good records for artists like Common and just whoever else, tons of people, like you just have mad respect. And plus,
fucking
I mean, he's fucking everybody. Nas, he's produced for everybody, man.
Who's the one? Yeah, the Nas album. Well, he had the weird thing where he was doing like the 7-track albums. Who was the other dude?
The Pusha T. The Pusha T.
One. Yeah, I couldn't remember that one, but yeah, that was a
Clips.
That was a good one. Yeah, I liked some of his producing shit more than
he's always been a good producer. Like even before he broke out as an artist, he was producing good stuff. But yeah, like of course he gets a benefit of the doubt. I mean, when you're producing shit like that, that's changing waves of music and stuff, man, you're gonna get the benefit. But like at this point, I think he's just losing respect from people because he's saying some shit that's so crazy that like how do you it's getting to the point where it's like
unhingedness.
It is unhinged and it doesn't even make sense. Like some of the shit is like before it was funny when he was saying all the political shit about like Trump and Bush and like all his other shit and stuff. Like it was kind of funny.
Like when I seen him in like a MAGA hat, like having sit downs with Trump, like I thought that shit was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
But like now
I still think
now
it's
he's
funny.
Like now
it was funny.
Like
I still think it's funny that this guy is just like unhinged. Like
well, that part was funny. Like when he was it was like mildly unhinged, but now it's getting like scary. Like you're actually like worried.
But I mean, I think he has been fully diagnosed.
Kanye West is just funny.
Yeah, I think he has been diagnosed as being bipolar, and I think it's kind of a result too of like, he's got such a huge ego and stuff, and he just believes in himself so much that I think sometimes he feels like he doesn't need to take his meds, and this is what happens. You tell the world that you sucked your cousin's dick till you were 15. Like it's really not.
Why did he wait so long?
This is a great example of why you take your meds when you do suffer from bipolarism. Like I know a couple bipolar people, and you would never know that they're bipolar because they take their meds. But if you've ever seen them off their meds, they are Kanye West. Like they say crazy shit, dude, and they do crazy shit too, and they don't even realize like what the fuck, right? So
he just wanted us all to laugh, so he said.
Well, it's also combined a little bit with the God complex because he always had that even before he was going nuts.
So yeah, like for a while there, he just had like a crazy ego, but like now it's like it's the ego plus the like insane bipolar shit. That's like
it's one thing to call yourself a god and like a producing genius and stuff, and kind of like move on with your life, but he takes that shit to heart, and he actually truly believes that he is the god of hip-hop, and
he believes he's
the savior of hip-hop,
better than he is.
Yeah, like he is really talented.
Yeah, for sure.
The one thing about Kanye West that I obviously a lot of people didn't know until the documentary came out was his drive is so incredible that he was such a genius that he got basically a film crew to film his whole rise to success. Who fucking has that on film? That's like us filming from day one of 22 shots and now we're gods, right?
Right. Yeah.
We're the gods of this shit. So obviously not, but like,
yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it was such an incredible
most
thing
like
to do.
Big artists and stuff. There's like 5 clips of them during their first like album recording it, and it's like that's all they have. Like
yeah, and it's like literally everything. They would film him and his mom and like just doing everything, like going to meetings and posting like stickers and posters, just every little fucking thing. There was hundreds of hours of footage and shit. Like this guy knew he had this vision that he was going to be huge and everyone's going to see this rise to fame one day and in like real kind of time. It's like, it's pretty wild. It's really wild. Mad respect for the drive. I mean, you can't discredit him for having that type of drive because not too many people would. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So, but I mean, that's a whole totally different story nowadays. I can't take him serious, dude. It's like, it's just so bad. Like, I mean, I honestly haven't liked Kanye's music in a long time, and it has nothing to do with like how crazy he's become. It's just more the music elements. But like now, it's just like, how do you go? Like, do I feel like popping on a Kanye record now?
Yes.
It's so weird.
Well, it goes from being so when
you talk about black Nazism, man. Like
when you assume he's still of right mind and he's just trolling, that's when it's funny. But when it's like, damn, this is an actual mental health issue and he can't control himself, that's when it's kind of like, damn, I kind of feel a little bit bad.
I feel like scared for like I feel like he's gonna do something like
yeah. I think he needs to keep his meds, man, going. So, anyways, wow, Linkin Park to Kanye West. South Park is genius though. They're fucking genius. Yeah. I'm sticking to my guns on that one.
I've been watching a lot of South Park recently, like randomly. We've just been putting it on a lot, just like running through like the entire series. We're getting pretty close, or like I feel like we're on a good ones.
Yeah,
so good, man. Mm-hmm. So good. The best thing about South Park is the fact that they do current events. So, and how crazy this world is, they never run out of material to make fun of because there's always something ridiculous happening.
We're getting new episodes in July.
Yeah. I'm always
and they pump them out like they actually only take 6 days to make them. Did you guys watch that documentary?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That was incredible.
The fact that they can be just so like fast with all the new shit too is crazy.
With it being insanely clever at the same time. Like that, like I could see something being made fast like that. But the level of like cleverness that they come up with, that's where it becomes like.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy to me that they would do those basically in under a week. And the fact that they only had one episode where they didn't make the deadline is because the power went out. But they had it finished. Like, they couldn't get it. They couldn't pass it on. But like, that's just crazy, man. Crazy shit. But I think one of the craziest ones was when Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett passed away in the same day. And that was like on a Wednesday, and by Friday they were in the episode airing. It was that one with all the dead celebrities and shit. I'm like, this is fucking wild.
I just remember
there was something with one of the.
Was that the Biggie Smalls one where they said Biggie Smalls?
Yeah, doing the Candyman thing. Yeah,
I remember they just got like a ton of fucking hate because like they showed Steve Irwin with like a stingray tail sticking out of his chest
6 weeks after it happened.
Yeah, it's like, dude.
But they do obviously get their backlash, but like they're still the only comedic duo or comedians that really get away with everything.
Well, I think that's why I saw a list of some of
the people. Most people take it well, apparently. But I saw a list of some of the people who like did not take it well. Tom Cruise was like number one.
That's like the number one. Yeah.
Yeah, he like threatened to like pull his press tour for one of the Mission Impossible movies.
Tomo, come out of the closet.
Unless they like refuse, unless they agree to not re-air the episode. And like,
I like that they make fun of everybody. Like that's the thing that I think the reason they could get away with a lot of stuff is because they don't really seem to align.
They're the only show that can get away with like making episodes just about mentally like challenged kids, like getting
turn them into literal Looney Tunes.
Well, the fact that
they have them shoot up steroids.
Yeah, like literally, there's like an episode just about like the handicapped kids like selling.
I know the fact that they have handicapped characters.
Like,
hey, you want to try some of this?
Yeah, Nathan.
But like Nathan and Timmy,
where, like summer camp, where it's like summer camp.
Yeah, and all of the little like
that episode's so crazy.
And it shows
like
one of the kids being raped by a shark over and over.
The fact that they have two regular characters that are handicapped is just saying that they get away with everything because people are super offended by
audience.
Yeah,
yeah. Carly did not like South Park. And it really what it came down to was like she never actually sat down and watched South Park. She just thought it was
just by chance,
stupid,
right when South Park aired was like right when I like first like started to discover when I was probably around like 7 years old. I first like discovered that I could like sneak down like in my basement late at night and watch TV. And like that would always, I would always catch like South Park. Like right when South Park started playing, I started like catching it right from like the start of the series. Like
I
like,
caught it right from the beginning too, but I wasn't
too.
allowed to
Yeah.
watch it. But I used to I used to go to like elementary school and draw the South Park characters because they're pretty easy
Yeah.
to draw.
The only
Like, you could
other
be
kids in
bad
my
at
class
art.
that like that knew about it were like the kids that had older brothers.
So I was telling all these kids, like, they'd be like, "What are you drawing?" I'd be like, "South Park." You don't know what South Park is? Like, it's great or whatever. So I got all these other kids watching South Park, and then like there was like a parent teacher day conference, and like this one kid named Corey, his mom was there, and he's like, "Hey, he's just obsessed with this thing called South Park, and I don't know what it is." And the teacher was like, "I think that's some sort of adult programming." And the kid looks at me and he's like, he's the one that told me about it. And I'm like, "Bro,
What a snitch.
I was like, I was like, I don't even know about it. Some kid on the bus showed me it.
I think actually, I think the reason why like they're so good with like making fun of actors and stuff like that, because the first couple seasons when they used to have guest voices on there, they learned real quick that they don't like working with like real actors and shit because they're just a pain in the ass. They always want to change shit. They're always bitching, complaining, and they're a fucking pain in the ass to schedule too, right? And so they did that for a couple seasons. They said, fuck, this is actually one of the reasons why they don't really make a lot of movies, because you know, you kind of need other actors in there too and shit, right? But then it kind of set it up for the fact that like, well, since we fucking hate actors, we're just going to make fun of them all day long. And they've made it like 25 years out of this. It's great. It's so great to me.
Yeah.
And one of the episodes in the first season, George Clooney is the voice of the dog. And all he does is
And the
bark.
dog doesn't speak the whole episode.
No, he just barks.
I still
He's
think
like,
I still think one of the craziest things South Park has ever done is what they did to Isaac Hayes when they did that Scientology episode and he got all pissed off and left the show. And then the way they killed him off like a couple times, but like what they did to him is just so fucking savage because he was
altering all of his dialogue.
Yeah, because he was the chef. He was chef on that show. Like he was really the only celebrity that was like on that show, right? Because I mean, it's fucking Isaac Hayes, but they stopped working with outside people.
There's some like conspiracies out there that basically like allude to the fact that Isaac Hayes wasn't even like that upset about it, but it was like the Scientologists who like fucking came in and like forced him, and then he died. So like, there's all these conspiracies.
So they probably killed him too.
Yeah, like there's like conspiracies about that out there.
I can't believe the Scientologists killed Chuck Turner. That's pretty fucked up to me, man. It's like one of the most badass people ever.
I never even thought about they could have just been like mad and then like, you have to quit now.
Yeah. Well, they're
He probably
it's
would.
a fucking cult, dude.
Yeah.
Hey man,
The only cool
so bad.
Scientologist is Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I respect Tom Cruise. He does his own stunts. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I was
John,
watching
I sue
some.
you.
I was
You
watching
made me
some
look
behind the
stupid.
scenes shit with him, dude. When he like broke his arm or something, jumping across the building, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I knew he did his own stunts, but like, that's fucking kind of crazy, dude.
Dude, his
He
method
does
acting
some
is not.
crazy shit.
Dude,
Yeah,
his
and
method
Travolta-
acting is taken
Travolta's
into a different level.
Scientologist too, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't do his own stunts. He maybe his dancing stunts, but
Dancing stunts.
fucking Saturday Night Fever was I'm pretty sure that was him dancing. But
Hell yeah, that
Pulp
Grease,
Fiction.
perfect.
yeah, he definitely dances.
Just a
But
straight dancer.
But fucking Tom Cruise, man, that guy's like a certified like fucking pilot now and like deep sea diver and shit. Like he takes the method acting to a different level. Like who goes and gets certified to do those things just to do a fucking movie? Like I've heard of people
like,
taking drugs and
was-
shit, get into the roles of being a drug addict, like all that type of shit. But like that, it takes some real commitment.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
what-
actually flying an Apache helicopter like through a fucking canyon.
Yeah, it's wild. And like the deep sea, I'm like, this is wild, man. Like that's pretty. You got to respect it, man. Fuck. Fucking Ottawa scored. Weak. Yeah. Anyways, we should probably maybe talk about Sinbin. What's
Movies.
yeah, some fucking movies. So well, I guess at the end of the show we'll announce what we're doing for next month.
Fuck, I forgot to bring that up again. Damn it.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I don't even remember
We're
what
going
you're
for
doing.
next month.
What about next
I
month?
can't even remember what I picked, honestly. I
I
got
know,
mine
right?
in already, but
I actually have it here. Actually, I got a question though. Does anybody know why we got a replacement disc for Demon Witch Child?
I do know why.
Because this is
So
the second
there's
one
a-
I've gotten 2 months. You got one for Dismembered, and I didn't know what the fuck that was for either.
There's a part in the movie where the same scene like happens twice. It's like a short little part,
Okay.
and then the rest of the movie, the like dialogue's out of sync. Like,
No,
the
so it's
ADR is all
like
fucked up.
legitimate.
Shit. Crazy.
But it's like towards the end, so it's like
Okay.
you might not notice it.
I didn't watch it because we watched it last year for 75.
I watched it, but I wasn't like hyper focused. I just had it on.
I popped it in to see what the transfer looked like, and I was like, holy shit. That's way better than what I'm used to. So, but yeah, I guess we'll announce what we're doing at the end of the show, I guess, if everyone can remember.
Yeah,
even
that's
know what
usually
I can
when we do
remember.
it.
I think I remember what I'm doing.
I remember what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I remember what I'm doing.
it's probably on the spreadsheet anyways too, right?
I don't know if we put it up. Did anybody know?
I don't even know. Did we do the fucking spreadsheet?
That was you look like Saddam Hussein, Tony.
It's funny too because we had
From
just
South
watched
Park.
we had
When
just
it's
watched that
just
pick actually
little-
a few months back. No, we never did. They're not.
you, Satan.
They're not on the spreadsheet. So yeah, okay. So we're gonna have to go by memory, I guess. But yeah, one thing I thought was actually kind of funny, JP. I was thinking about it was you know how you like hate Canada, but you keep like
picking
Canadian films and films with cannibal in the title too.
I know this is like not only cannibal in the title, but if you count Deranged as a cannibal movie,
It's wild.
because it's alluded to. This is like my third fucking cannibal movie in a row. I'm done after this though, man.
That's crazy.
This is my third Asian movie in a row, and this is the third month in a row that at some point I've done an Asian movie double feature.
You know, speaking of
Well, that's not surprising at all.
We've done so much Asian shit just this year in general.
yeah, I mean, there's so much coming out, right? It's just
Mhm.
like it's just kind of hard to avoid. Of course, we're not
I
going to
feel like
flavor
a
of the week.
third of like their output
Yeah.
is Asian.
yeah, there's been
Actually,
lots
this
of
whole show is a very like foreign episode.
yeah. Actually, speaking of like sister labels, what the fuck is up with Umbrella? They haven't released anything in a few months on the Vinegar Sin. I just realized I was actually on there a couple days ago and I was looking at the
every
sister
time
label
I
stuff.
see
And I was like,
they
wait a minute.
announce something on the regular line, I'm just like, man, I wish this could have been on the Vinegar Syndrome line.
I know, like when Thesis came out on the regular line, and I was like, shit, why the fuck didn't I get a sister label release? But
That's actually what I'm waiting for. Like every time like Umbrella comes out with those like $75 like deluxe editions, I'm like, that shit's got to come out from through Vinegar Syndrome, right?
I know that Thesis edition was literally $80. I'm like,
Yeah,
That's
I-
crazy, bro.
I fucking
shelled
totally
out for
passed.
Possession because like Possession is just like one of my favorite movies. Period.
Oh, I've got that huge Mondo edition. You ever seen that one? Like the big.
I have the Blu-ray one. Mine was the big box. It was the thinner one, and I just felt like it was worth it to upgrade to 4K, so I went and did it.
I got that Mondo version.
Yeah, it's fucking nice, man. It's like
The
nice
giant
felt.
felt cover.
Yeah, the felt cover.
Yeah,
Fuck.
see, I didn't have the felt cover. I had like the thinner one. It was still like a book. It was still nice. But I had like the ribbon to pull out the book.
Yeah, those Mondos were expensive as hell too. Ugh, crazy.
How many did they put out? That's the only one I even remember.
I know that there's 3 or 4 of those big ones because I know Tom Horsball. He's got 2 or 3 of them. I think they released a couple more from the same guy that did Possession, but I can't quite remember. I don't know. It's been a minute.
I don't know what movies would they have done.
I can't fucking
That's
remember.
the biggest thing is like his movies do not have good releases here.
That is crazy.
Yeah, like third
For
part
somebody
of the
so
night,
popular.
Yeah, third even Possession, like you have to outsource it. On the Silver Globe, like third part of the night, Diablo, like none of them have like stateside releases.
Well, we don't really have much for the intro, so we might as well move on. So the order was determined by randomizer, and it goes like this: Tony, Tyler, Mike, me, JP.
Kill him last.
Yep. So, with that said, we might as well get into these solo reviews. Tony, do you want to lead us off?
Yes. So this month I had last dibs. So I really didn't have much to choose from. So I picked Reflections in Black, which is a selection from the latest Forgotten Giallo box set. And I picked this because it's a 1975 movie. And I couldn't find a copy of it last year when we were watching them for the show. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this one. All right, so a quick synopsis on this one. Countess Orselmo hides her lust for women from most of those closest to her, but that does not stop her from taking a bevy of beautiful female companions to her bed. But when some of her favorite conquests are discovered dead, slashed to ribbons with a razor, the Countess finds herself embroiled in a sinister mystery which her illicit affairs are at the very center. Will she be next on the killer's target list, or does the assailant have another and even more shocking motive for the violence?
It's funny. I was like reading the IMDb description, and I was like, he's not reading this one at all.
I know. That was like the even shorter one.
That honestly, that sounds pretty good.
They really, really like talk this one up because this is honestly one of the most standard giallos I have ever seen in my entire life.
You know why they were able to talk this one up though is because it literally has a really, like, if you're into these Italian genre films, as much as we watch of them, you recognize everybody in this movie, like from John Richardson to Dagmar Lasseter. Like there's so many people in this movie. Like if you look up their filmographies, they're in all the movies that we love, like Fulci movies to Lenzi movies, like to fuck everything, man. Like there's just, it never ends. So it's like, I love those type of faces where I'm like, I know that person. What movie? Oh my, oh yeah, I've seen like 19 of their movies. Like it's crazy.
Right. It's like full of those people where it's like they're not
cast.
like bona fide stars, but they're like those everyday faces. Almost like so many like Dick Millers and it like Italian films are in this.
Right.
Like I was constantly having to look people up. But I mean, really, that's honestly to me the only thing that this movie has going for it. Because like the plot itself is really standard. You have just a killer in black going around killing prostitutes who are connected to a woman who's the wife of like a famous politician in Italy. And this one, it really centers around like the police procedural. Like the three main cops in this movie are honestly the stars of this movie because the the people that the killer is going after, like there really isn't much like character buildup or anything for these people. Like they pretty much just show up and die. But you're following these cops around and they're okay. Like the director Tano Chimarosa, who's primarily an actor, he's another one of those guys. He directs this movie too, or he stars in it, and he's like the lead sergeant guy who's going around. So it's almost kind of like an Italian vanity project. So like in that aspect, I was kind of hoping that would be just like a little crazier. And I wanted him to be like just a little bit more like crazy in his performance, but he plays it straight. And this movie is pretty much just straight all the way to the end. In terms of like kills, like it's really not even that impressive either. Like it, and honestly, like the movie does start out pretty strong. It opens with a nice like slashing where the killer chases this girl into a phone booth and cuts her to death. And then for the next like half hour, you have two or three more kills. And then after that, it's pretty much they find a body and then they find a body. And then there's like nothing exciting for almost pretty much the rest of the movie. And the slashings themselves are really not all that bloody at all. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have the gore going for it. You would think too that a giallo that's centered around like prostitution and like hookers and everything would be really sleazy. And there is like a lot of nudity in this movie, but the love scenes are like some of the worst shot love scenes I've seen in like almost any Italian movie.
Dude, I'm glad that you said that, man, because I I was hoping you're going to bring up the cinematography in this, because not like this movie appears to be super sleazy, but it's shot so poorly that it's actually laughable. Like that scene where she's like our main character, like she's, you know, she's the wife of that famous politician or whatever. She's like doing that photograph session or whatever. And then she's like, oh yeah, you know, I like you. And then she starts rubbing her titties nice. And I'm like, this is like, it felt awkward. It was weird.
It was awkward. And you remember that like one dream sequence with that one woman and the other woman that had died? She was like reminiscing about them like on vacation, and they're just like laying next to each other and like basically petting each other for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, man. Like the fuck? Like have some direction. Like make it a little bit, you know, if you're gonna appear to be sleazy, at least make it sleazy. Right? It's almost laughable, like sleaze. It's really odd. It's really weird.
Yeah, so like the sleaze factor was bad, the kills weren't very impressive, the music was about as stock as you can imagine.
It's so standard. It's so fucking standard, dude.
I could watch this movie 10 times and I still would not be able to like tell you what the soundtrack sounds like. There's actually like another flashback scene where they kind of recreate like a New York like club from the 70s, and it has possibly the worst fucking music I've ever heard in my life. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
where they're talking to that drug dealer?
Yeah.
And it's like a 10-minute long scene. It's probably the most boring scene in the entire movie, but it has got to be the worst music I've ever heard in an Italian movie in my entire life.
Oh, man.
But the mystery aspect also sucks. And that's for like one key reason. I don't even know if you noticed this, but they show the killer's face in the opening kill. And I don't know if that was a mistake or not, because the rest of the movie is a standard whodunit where they're chasing after like basically all these red herrings.
Yeah. See, I think the problem is with this movie is that like it doesn't give enough good red herrings to really lead you to any other place besides where you think it's going to go, and it goes there, because the obvious red herring would be our main female character, like
the woman that's connected to all of them,
the one that she's been sleeping with all these people. Of course she's going to be the main feature, or the main the main person, because she's the one that's connected to all these. But like there's only really one. Like I'm about three-quarter, or not even, probably halfway through the film, I'm going, this can't be where I think it's going to go, because who else would be doing this? Because they're not leading anywhere else, and they've already strayed away from the killer enough. And I'm like, okay. And then it goes there, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this movie was such a waste. I'm actually glad that you're kind of harping on it, because I was like, Jesus, dude, I was so disappointed with this film, because seeing what the cast was, I'm like, and it's the narrative seems like it's going to be pretty decent, but man, this one fails on every aspect. Fuck, cinematography, music, kills, and it's just A to B. It's so standard. There's nothing to it. There's really no twists and turns. It just goes from A to B. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, the mystery aspect sucks. It's like anytime you try and figure anything out, like another person's gone or another person dies. The fact that you're following the police around, they're basically just going from point A to point B and just interrogating these people. And you really can't just like let a story develop that way.
Well, no, and it's so standard in the way the kills are too, is because every time she has an interaction with one of these female, victims, they die. Like she associates with them, and then they die like in the next scene, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So they're setting it up. It's like it's going to be her, but it's too obvious to be her. Besides, why would she be having these relations with these girls and then off them, because they're not giving you any reason to off them if it was her, right? There's no motive really for her to be doing this, because there's no gain. They're not showcasing anything within her character, right? Motivations and stuff. And I'm like, okay, it can only be one person. I'm like, oh my God. And it turned out to be, and I'll tell you one thing, I'm not one of those people that when I watch giallos, I'd say 95% of the time, I don't know who the killer is. I really don't. I'm really bad. Or I try not to figure it out. But this one, I was just like, it was almost like the narrative was leading me to the killer. Just
Yeah,
such a-
you didn't even need to like put on your thinking cap or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's just so standard.
Yeah.
So the only there's two things that I really liked about this movie. One was like when the Countess was like upset when she found out that one of the people died. She's like upset laying on the bed, and her maid comes in and immediately just like pulls her titties out. Because like the Countess is like upset. She's like, "I'm sorry." She's like, "No, get away from me." I'm like, "Damn, that's a nice ass maid."
Right, I actually forgot about that. Pretty
And there
funny.
is one death that I really liked because of the aftermath. A person is killed by a pack of dogs, and like
Yeah.
one of the saddest like dog deaths ever. And then when the cops go and like shoot the dogs away, the owner of the dogs come out and he's like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't stop him." And he's like, "So long," and he basically just walks away after his dogs maul this person to fucking death. It's like, oh yeah, mistakes happen. Don't worry about it. Good night. Those are the literal only two highlights of this movie. So yeah, I definitely don't recommend this. Like to me, it's not horrible. It's not that bad. It's just a complete straight line, flat line, like all the way through. There's no life in this movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
If it was bad, I would at least have something memorable to come off of. But I watched this movie like yesterday and I barely even remember it.
Yeah, it's definitely very forgettable. Did you watch any of the like the alternate footage that was for the what do they call it? The export cut or something
Yeah.
like that, or the international cut or something?
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't. I was actually going to because I was like, there's got to be something better about this movie. Maybe it's
Oh,
better.
No, it's even worse.
Oh my God, really?
All
This is
right.
one of the worst. This might even be one of the worst giallos in all these sets so far. Like I haven't really, I've seen a lot of the films, but some of the ones I haven't seen were better than this. So we're bottom feeding right now, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we're definitely there, which I'm okay with. Like I'd rather this stuff be out than it's not.
For sure, 100%. Yeah.
But that alternate footage from the export version, it's basically just extra like sex scene inserts. So they put like the remastered footage and then the extra footage is cut from a VHS source and they just have it spliced in.
Right.
All it is just like an extra like 2 or 3 minutes of every sex scene and it just makes them even worse and even more boring.
So it, dude, like how, like, man.
Yeah. Another thing about this movie too. I started it with the English dub because I'm like, fuck it, why not? This dub is incomplete. They give you a disclaimer in front of the movie saying they're talking about how the transfer is taken from the last 35 millimeter source, and it looks pretty decent for a beat up print. But then they say that the English dub is incomplete, so there's snippets of it that they have to splice the Italian language back in. I tell you what, this shit is so fucking incomplete. It is insane when you watch it because they'll literally talk like 5 lines in English, 5 lines in Italian, 2 lines in English, 3 lines in Italian. And I'm like, how the fuck can you even pay attention to this shit?
Dude, I actually watched it with the, like, I started out with the Italian too. And then I was like, I'm going to switch over. And then I was like so enthralled by, I'm constantly like losing focus because I'm like, it's just so fucking weird to me that it, like mid sentence, it just breaks into Italian. I'm like, they never had the rest of that in English. Like, what the fuck? And the funny thing is like, there's characters in this that are actually speaking English too, right? So, but again, you know, it's Italian filmmaking. They didn't film it with the actual English audio, so they don't have a full audio track. It's all dubbed after the fact, right? So it's just
John
kind of
Richardson. He's English, right?
Yeah, he's English, right? So he like you can tell he's speaking English the entire movie, but then it cuts into this atrocious Italian dub, and it's like so off, and it doesn't fit because you hear his voice, and then you hear, oh my God, dude, it is so fucked up. I'm so glad I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, overall, neither dub is any good, really.
No.
Just to cut in here for a second. So it's funny hearing this review because there's a guy on the Vinegar Syndrome Collectors group page who every time a new set comes out, he ranks all the films from all the sets. And he has this film at number 6 at an 8 out of 10.
What are the 5 ahead of it?
Yeah, number
The
6.
5 ahead of it are Sweets from a Stranger, Bloodstained Shadow, Obsession, Rings of Fear, which is also in this set, and My Dear Killer is number one.
So what's
My Dear Killer probably is the best one out of all those,
That's
honestly.
that I think so. From what I mean, I've seen that movie. I haven't seen all the other stuff, but
What's his
um,
bottom?
yeah? What are all the films? I can't remember all the films that are in there, but I remember some of them.
I mean, I could go through the whole
I
thing
know
if you
like
want.
Autopsy's in there. The girl from 2A is in there.
Room 2A. Yeah.
Room
So
2A.
from the very top to the very bottom, My Dear Killer, Rings of Fear, Obsession, Bloodstained Shadow, Sweets from a Stranger, Reflections in Black, Nine Guests for a Crime, Police Are Blundering in the Dark,
Oh my god, that movie sucks.
Arabella, French Sex Murders, Death Carries a Cane, Mystery, White Dress for Marley, Tropic of Cancer, Naked You Die, Autopsy. That's crazy that Autopsy's that low.
It's so good.
Murder Mansion, Girl in Room 2A, Crazy Desire, Trauma, Sister of Ursula, A Killer is Among Us, AAA Masseuse, which I think is also in this set.
Yeah, it is.
And then the bottom one is Killer is one of 13.
Yeah, that movie's not good. I mean, I wouldn't put it at the bottom, but most of his bottom end ones are some of my favorites of the whole run. I'm not even joking. That's you totally opposite taste. Insane. Sister Ursula is fucking awesome. It's probably top 3 for that. My Dear Killer. I like the Girl in Room 2A. She's really good.
I love that Sister of Ursula, Arabella box set because it was all just like the sleazy, sexy giallis.
Dude, those ones are fun, man. Yeah. Yeah, Sister Ursula, I've seen many times in the past, but that one's, I think that's one of the best ones they've released. Autopsy's up there for me. I mean, there's
I'm
obviously
not
a
like
mixed
a
bag.
massive Autopsy fan, but I think that
It's
it seems
solid.
a little low.
Yeah, weird. Totally opposite taste. Huh.
Pretty wild.
All right, back to this. There's a commentary track with film historian and critic Rachel Nisbet. Did not listen to that. But there's a 29-minute featurette on here called Reflections on Chimarosa, which is an interview with Domenico Minetti, who's a biographer of the director of this movie, which it's pretty interesting if you're like interested in like the career of this guy. He just goes throughout like his acting career and some of the movies he's directed. And he gives his opinions on this movie too, and he pretty much just feels the same way we do. It's just he rips so many people off and nothing is spectacular. It's just like a run-of-the-mill movie just beginning to end. So like even like his biggest fan is pretty lukewarm on this one too, like we are.
Right.
But yeah, like for me, honestly, this is a low point in the Forgotten Gialli box sets, and I'm probably gonna give it a 4.5 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Yeah, it's I've seen almost all the movies and all the sets. There's a couple I haven't seen, but this is definitely one of the bottom feeders for myself. Yeah. The Police Are Blundering in the Dark was atrocious too. That's actually one of the worst ones.
Yeah, I heard that one was pretty bad.
It's bad.
Oh yeah,
man.
that's bad. I watched that for last year.
Oh, fucking horrible.
I remember you guys talking how bad it was. I was like, I guess I don't need to watch this one.
I will say that like the even like Tony mentioned that like even though this film isn't that strong, he's like happy it got released. I do think that the fact that there's 8 of these damn box sets and like if you put them all up on the shelf or like next to each other, it's fucking pretty dope. It's like one of the cooler things they've done.
It is
because
cool.
they just keep making them. Like there's literally what like
24 now.
Yeah, it's like insane.
Yeah.
Hope they never stop. There's still over 100 that need released.
Yeah, there's still a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, realistically,
it's actually pretty wild when you think about it. Like there's only 100 left. Like how many giallos were made? There was like what 700 or something like that. 750 giallos made.
Something like that.
And we only have 100 unreleased. That's pretty fucking wild. Like this genre has gotten so much love in the last 20 years. It's crazy. It's pretty wild. All right.
Yeah, I assume they sell well because they keep making them.
Yeah, I think most of this. I mean, I know the earlier ones are definitely sold out. I'm not sure about the later ones, but I don't know what are they limited to, the actual sets, because they only do so many of them, like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 copies, something like that.
Probably more than that on the newer ones. I bet the earlier.
Yeah, because they're not
That's
considered
pretty
limited
low.
editions, but like they eventually go sold out.
5,000 for this last one.
Right. Well, all right, Tyler, what do you got?
All right. We're going to take a trip over to one of the fastest growing labels on the tier list for me as of late with Kanye. It is Mike DeLeon's Kisapmata.
You say
I've known
Hakuna
about
Matata?
Kisapmata,
Kisamata.
or in the wink of an eye for the English speaking people. But I've known about this movie for years, and it was not a movie that was easy to find. I knew this was like considered like one of the best like Filipino movies, and this was like a hidden gem of like their horror. And so it's been on my radar for a long time. I was going to try to seek it out this year, just to see it. So when I saw this got released, I like jumped. I was so excited for this. I was like sweating. I was like, I hope there's no way JP's gonna pick this movie before me because I picked second. Uh,
I was
So-
gonna pick it if you didn't pick it.
I was really stoked when this was like a slam dunk pick for me. But yeah, so this movie had a lot of hype coming up with it, and it's a really interesting movie. Essentially, it's about a daughter who has become engaged to one of her coworkers, and basically it's kind of a rush thing because she found out she's pregnant, and her father, who's a retired police sergeant, has a very like oppressive like stranglehold like over an influence over her and her mother, where he goes beyond just like the overbearing like father. It's like he's like the totalitarian ruler of like the home.
Totalitarian.
He
Yeah, I
takes
can't
A
speak
type
right now.
personality to a different level. Like,
Yeah,
he's got to be in
it's-
control of everything, man.
And this is based off. There's a novelization like a true crime novel based off a case where this actually happened in the 60s, and this is inspired by that novel. So it's like it's a little bit further away from what actually happened, but it's inspired by that story. And this was made about 15 years after that happened. And the reason this movie it seems is so popular and has this wide acclaim in the Philippines is because a lot of people see it as a criticism of the president at the time, or the dictator, Ferdinand Marcos, who implemented martial law on their citizens. So they were literally living this reality where they couldn't leave. They were barred to their homes by the government. So this is like, or this movie, the allegory in this film, the way they tie into this case is like a lot is viewed as a reflection of that, and a reflection and a criticism of the patriarchal society there at the time that under this regime. So I didn't know that going into that. I learned that a little bit about that in the special features, which just adds like another layer where you really see it. But you could obviously see like watching it in the same way. This is almost kind of like a micro version of Sallow, where it's like playing out like it's playing out a reflection of this criticism of the reality, but it's like obviously like on a much more micro scale, like to this family. But even if you take away
Just
all
had to
that,
squeeze the Solo reference.
But even in contrast to Sallow, which of course Tyler would fucking relay and put Sallow into the conversation, it's, as awkward as Sallow is, this movie might even be even more awkward.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Dude, like, could you imagine going to you can't even go to the fucking movies? Your father-in-law is like sitting there with you, and like, fuck that shit, dude. That's awkward.
You can't do anything.
I'd
You
rather
can't even
be-
go on a
you-
honeymoon.
I
You
would
can't
rather
hang
be
out with
eating
your
poop.
husband.
I'd rather eat fucking poop
suffocate.
than fucking have the father-in-law there ruining my theater experience and
But
dipping in my
Even as
popcorn
like
and
a
shit.
eat
straightforward
shit.
movie.
I'd rather eat shit. You don't touch my fucking popcorn, Papa. Fuck that guy.
This still, like, even if you take out any of that context, this movie still works really well as like a slow burn, like just at face value thriller. Because
Yeah,
like
the
just from the
father-
point,
The father's performance is really good in this. Like, you
yeah,
just get that
he
vibe,
really,
like
yeah,
just
he
his like
really
facial
carries it.
expressions and mannerisms. He makes everything awkward. Like the dinner scene with the the first time that the other family comes over
Yeah,
for dinner and stuff. It's just this like awkward, controlling.
Well, he's so good at.
he has this aura to him that's just like frightening, and everybody's so passive around him that he's just this person that like he's aggressive. Like when that guy's family comes over, he's just like, you have to give me this much money if you want my daughter.
Yeah, and the way he like says it is so like, well, if like if I had the son, then I would be paying it, but unfortunately, I do not. So it's up to you.
Yeah.
Like he just has this way of like. Funny enough, this is the weirdest comparison, but like he reminds me of like the kind like like if you took his personality and turned it into a comedy, it's like Meet the Fockers or whatever the hell that movie was called with Robert De Niro.
I didn't think you were going there.
Like I'm
The-
just
you
saying,
also-
like
the first one.
the
Just in the way,
uncomfortable
like, he
father
commits
where
to
you're
this
just like
performance.
nothing you do is gonna like satisfy
Yeah.
him.
You're
the
right, though.
father-in-law.
If Meet the Parents was a horror movie, it would be Kisapmata.
Just in the way he like kind of commits to his performance though, and like creates his aura, he kind of reminds me of the guy from Sleep Tight. Like it's this guy that's so like dedicated to his performance that it just like completely elevates the film, and he just like he's like he just creates that aura about him. It's really effective. Here.
He's so good at selling the fact that he's not a complete asshole, and maybe he's just kind of nudging in there a little bit.
Well,
But
that's
he's
the
like,
thing, it builds to it. Like you see
Yeah.
he's a prick, but you don't necessarily think he's a bad guy until like
Yeah.
the movie progresses. You just see him getting worse and worse and like more restrictive.
It's a very good depiction of your classic like narcissist abuser where like they can relieve tension in a scene trying to use like comedy or jokes, but it's like awkward because everybody around him isn't fully buying into him being a nice guy because there's things going on under the surface. And
There's
then you
just
see him,
everyone's
like,
always
flip
well, the
off.
family definitely not, because
Yeah.
they know that he is the way he
Yeah,
is.
Yeah,
Right?
everyone's just afraid.
Yeah.
Of
There's
this guy.
always
Even,
a
like the in-laws.
I mean, the
tension.
wife is fucking terrified.
I
of
think
him.
I think the wife's performance depicts him being an abuser almost as well as he does, because no matter how he's acting, and the camera goes to the wife character, she's always on edge. She's always like, when's the other shoe gonna drop with this guy?
She looks like
Because,
she's always walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
like she's been a prisoner basically for that entire marriage.
Yeah, she's like already broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it doesn't help that she is also holding a really fucking vile secret, though, too. Like, she knows what happened to the daughter, but really can't do anything about it, too, though. And I hate that. Like, in like reality, I actually know a case like that personally.
Happens
I
all
could-
the time.
I couldn't even imagine like holding, like just not being able to do anything about it, because you're almost honestly fearing for your life, right? You know his capabilities. Like if you were to say anything or even fight back or do anything,
She intentionally ignores things.
well, of course, and that's the result of the oppression, right?
Yeah, she's
Right,
an
yeah.
enabler. And even when the
cool.
daughter confronts her at one point in the movie, when they have that conversation, it becomes apparent. And I think for a movie that is about this type of abuse that went on, the fact that it's not even that overly graphic. I mean, we get like a couple instances of like physical abuse, but for what probably went on in that house, the fact that they don't even need to show
Yeah, they don't
much of
show
it to
you
get it
really
across,
anything.
like that just makes it even more.
I think this is a
you
great
can feel that you can feel what happened in that house without them even
Yeah,
having to like.
And
Oh, yeah.
even
movie's cool.
even
Like,
they
even
don't
from
really
the
tell
opening
you a lot of the
credits, like-
backstory either. So
yeah, you go
I
right
think,
into
like, a
literally
lot
you
of
get
it
the opening
is-
credits like to this like melancholic piano, like dread, like Halloween shit, and then like it just the camera pans down into the living room and they're already like arguing, like talking, like throwing you right into the plot about the daughter, and like you just watch it unfold from there.
Also a Christmas movie. Just
Ooh,
saying.
also a Christmas movie.
It is, yeah.
Annually.
Making my next list.
Shut the fuck up. This
Christmas
better
Eve
not
with the
go on your
kids.
next list.
It is a Christmas movie.
One of two.
Well, then show is then her vengeance is also.
Right. That was the other one.
See, two making my list.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Anytime I see fucking Christmas anywhere in a movie, I'm like that meme with fucking from Tarantino's Hollywood movie where he's like pointing at the TV like Christmas.
Yeah.
I thought like as everything gets more intense in the movie, you kind of like see and you kind of put in the perspective more what the movie is like actually about. I thought it was a really good portrayal of just making everybody completely powerless around to this guy. Like anyone who tries to do anything to stop him, anyone who stands up to him just gets like completely fucked.
Bro, I'd fuck that dude up. Everybody's too soft in these
like,
movies.
Did you think that girl's husband was gonna? That guy was not doing.
Nah, not that guy.
Nah, that guy's a pussy.
See, yeah, but
Absolutely not.
but who knows? Like we never like he never finds out the true history of really what's going on because he fucking gets dead.
Well, he kind of might put it together right there at the end.
Maybe
he gets done in because there's a line where he says like, "I have a claim to."
I have a claim to that baby.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, like that kind of like if I was that guy in that moment, I might have been, especially after the context of seeing how he was towards the daughter the whole movie, I might have put it together right there.
Yeah.
At least up to that point, you can make an argument that he just thought it was like the typical overbearing dad, and that's why he wasn't going to like the next level of like, I need to physically do something to get him away. But at that point, it's probably like
downstream the in-law.
But most normal people would think like when somebody says I have a claim to that baby, they're not thinking, oh, that's actually yours, because I know how you are. You're actually fucking, you're actually you're just an oppressor, really. I mean,
but I think as like the audience, that's the moment for them to fully put it together. So I think that like at the same time, the character would be able to.
It could also be to like cultural aspects about like respect for the family and respect for like,
there's
the
definitely
patriarch of the family where like he doesn't.
Well, I was wondering if that's what actually was implied with it. Like, was he actually saying claim, or was he claiming that because he figured in his mind that he owned the daughter, right? He owns the daughter.
That's how I took it. Like that's my grandkid.
Yeah, he was saying that.
I thought it was that's my literal.
No, he says the same
that's
thing.
How I took it.
I took that at first like that, but then after I was like,
Are you sure, Tyler?
I don't think I never took it like that. And if you watch the beginning of the movie, like when they're first talking about like what they owe him, he uses like the same terminology. Like that's
but what about the line when the mom's talk or the daughter's talking to the mom and she's like, oh, it only happened like, did she say like one or two times? And like they don't.
There's no timeline. There's no timeline for it. We don't know if it happened like when she was
alluding to like sexual abuse, but they didn't come out and say it.
No.
I never felt like
they were talking about the father probably did some nasty sexual shit to the daughter, but they don't give you a timeline. It's very vague in that conversation. And like, cause the daughter obviously doesn't want to talk about it. And she says it only happened one or two times. You're right about that, but there's no context and no timeline given to that. So if you take that
there is kind of a timeline.
Well, no, it could have happened when she was younger. It didn't have to happen in the present.
Yeah.
Well, it had to happen in the present if that's his kid.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If you think that's the way it goes when he says I got claims on that kid, then it would be in the present. But it depends on how you depict that situation. Yeah, is he talking about ownership on the baby because it actually is his, or is he talking about ownership because he owns his fucking daughter?
The way he says it and looks at it, there's no way in hell that he is not the father of that kid.
And that's the way I took it at first too, but then I thought about it after.
I'm
and I was
1,000% sure.
That's the way I took it.
Watch that scene
like
again.
JP did, because why would you having ownership over a grandkid? Why would that mean she has to stay in the house? Like
it's just the way he said it and the way he looks at it too.
He doesn't.
You
want
know
that
what
baby
he
doesn't want that baby leaving his
I understand that aspect too, Tyler. But the way that he says it and the way he looks at it and the way the camera cuts to her, like that's what he's telling her. Without telling her, you know why I'm saying this.
Because it's his kid.
I don't know. I'm not convinced.
I mean, see, I thought the same way, JP. I thought the same thing, but then I thought about it after and I was like, but there's no, like the timeline, you kind of have to, I guess you got to read between the lines, but the conversation's so vague when she originally has it with the mom. Like it's so vague, right? Like
I don't take it like that, but
you could have. She could have been referring to when she was a child. See, the way I look at it though, like when the daughter says we only had, or it only happened 1 or 2 times. You know, most molesters, I would assume, if you're molesting your own children, would probably start at a young age. Why would you start when they're adults? You know what I mean?
Well,
like that's what I was confused about. Like when she said 1 or 2 times, like she literally says that she's in her 20s. Like it's fucking weird time to like start doing shit to your family. Like,
it could have been like an escalation of abuse, though. Like where like it starts.
Well, he could have
then...
still done that to her for a long time and not got her pregnant. You know,
but I mean, you just have to take her words into perspective. Like she said it only happened once or twice. Like, I mean, is she talking about straight up penetration, or like it's very vague. Like I understand both sides of the argument here for sure, because it is so vague in what she says. And I completely took it the same way you did, JP. When you said I've got claims on that baby, I was like, oh my God, dude, that's fucked up. Because they actually pan to the husband's face too, and he's kind of like, what the fuck? Like you see his reaction too. He's like, "What do you mean that's not my kid,
bro?" I know when I see incest in a movie.
You are the taboo king, the taboo fucking king.
So here's something that
so basically you're biased in this argument then because you want it to be incest.
Listen, so here's something that I found online. Here's something I found online.
This is a nasty episode, man. We're talking rape, incest, man.
Due to its controversial theme, only subtle references to incest are used throughout the film. Nevertheless, Kisapmata, whatever the fuck it's called,
in the wink
was subjected to the Board of Censors for Motion Pictures, then headed by Senator Maria Katabach, who required De Leon to remove a scene where the father enters his daughter's room as she is fearfully waits for him to come in. Katabach told De Leon that the scene showed the father in an aroused state, to which the director, although complying with demand, disagreed with.
I think that would have made the movie worse.
The point of the scene, the horror of incest, was obscured. So it's clearly that this was about incest, this movie.
Yeah, but again, doing research on it, it makes it a little bit more clear. But I'm talking about like the way we see it without the research.
Right. Well, again, but the way that I saw it was like I was unsure until that scene where me too. I'm telling you, if you rewatch that scene thinking that that's what he's saying, you'll be like, holy shit, like that's so obvious.
Hey, JP,
because the way he says it. What's that?
You think you're like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme with when incest comes on movies too?
Yeah.
incest.
I knew it.
I agree with you, JP. I was on the fence about it too. I was like, okay, so he was obviously diddling his daughter and doing some shit. But again, up to that point, it was like no timeline was given. She said once or twice. I was like, okay, maybe it happened in the past, and she's been living her whole life in fear of maybe this happening again. And she's obviously in fear of, you know, what her father's done to her and stuff. And she's obviously fearing what he possibly could do because he's being overpowering and oppressive with the whole marriage situation and stuff. But that moment when he says claim, who fucking uses the word claim? Like,
either way, I think it's like a dying.
Like, that's a pretty powerful word. Like, but again, like I said, on the flip side of the argument, I mean, he was claiming his daughter as his own too. Like he owns that fucking shit too. But yeah, I
can see it both ways.
I can too. But I truly think though that to make a little bit more of a splash in the end and stuff, and I think that I think it was his. Dude,
Tyler,
I saw it as incest too.
Crazy, bro. What? You said that the guy reminded you of the dude from Sleep Tight. So in the actual like case that reference, the father would hide under the couple's bed while they slept.
Dude, that's exactly Sleep Tight, man.
That's funny.
Dude, I thought it was creepy that he was going to the cinema with him, man. Hiding underneath the bed is fucking way worse, man. Oh, dude, that's creepy. That's so creepy.
Yeah, but aside from the strong writing and like tension points, this movie's also like just made very well. I've seen a couple movies by this guy now, And this guy, he has this really like in all of these movies where his cinematography is like really patient, and he kind of has like these like long take scenes. If you notice, a lot of the time he likes to like put like the camera on a track and basically like start a conversation and like roll the camera like across somewhere like into the room or like down the stairs or something. That's kind of like his signature. I've noticed in his movies, and they're just like it's quiet. They're quiet when they can be. So this guy definitely has like an auteur touch to him that you notice after a few movies, and as all his movies are kind of like slow burns like this that are what I've seen so far. But yeah, he's after like watching some of the special features and learning a little bit more about this guy. This guy is actually really is one of like the more notable Filipino directors, I guess, in general. Even like the lead actor, the guy that plays the Dong in the movie, was like a big actor at the time. This was actually considered like a great like cast in this like almost like a big cast in the movie at this time, and they referenced like another movie that like stacked up to it that's also on my radar. So that was kind of cool. I've actually seen that like a little bit, like a good handful of like Filipino movies randomly the last few months, and it's like not really like a circle of cinema like you really like hear about ever. But it actually really does kind of have its own like unique like kind of like vision to it, and they are like similar to this movie. But yeah, this movie was really good.
Yeah, it was kind of cool too how like little to no exposition was ever needed in this movie to give you a good idea of what was going on, or you didn't need it to build tension. It was just always there with these performances, whether it was the father himself or just everybody's reaction to him. It always felt like there was an escalation coming from like the very opening scene. You already knew something felt off, and I didn't even know a whole lot about the movie going in other than the synopsis, but right off the bat,
I didn't know a damn thing. I didn't even know how to say
Alan
the
knew,
title.
I knew I knew the mythology around it, and I knew like the synopsis, and that was it.
I actually didn't even buy it until Tyler picked it and said that it was. Usually the films that he picks I won't buy because I'm just not interested. But when I saw that Moodz and Tony were getting it and that it had like notable like horror like cred, I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. And I'm glad that I did because I really like this movie. And also, it's one of those movies where I saw the ending coming like towards the end when it's like happening, but I'm like hoping that it actually ends the way that it ended. So like I'm like, okay, he leaves the room, and exactly what I wanted to happen happened. So I was like, okay, I fucks with this because it's dark and it's like it's how this movie needed to end.
Agreed.
So I was pretty happy.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. It was surprising.
It felt like the type of movie that like no matter what, there was not going to be a good resolution.
Yeah,
and then it basically hit that home run with.
I thought that's how it was going to end, and then I was happy that it did.
Yeah.
I didn't know the real life story, so obviously you see what's going to happen towards the end, but it doesn't matter because it's foreboding that the entire film. It just has that kind of. It just resonates that terror, that result is more accurate, really, but it doesn't ruin it because it's the effectiveness is, the first 90 minutes of the film, and really, really effective film, really great performances, man. The father like just knocked it out the fucking park, man.
And that's what we talk about too. When like,
really good.
One of the most strongest years in horror history, 1981, right? Like, it's one of the best. Like everybody knows like all the films that came out in 1981. The fact that is such a dug into year, and I bet most people that we know have never seen this. Because
most of them have never even heard of it.
Like Tyler, I'd heard of this film before, just doing research on films and stuff like that, but never even. I mean, I don't think it had any type of release in it.
It didn't. This was something that was like on my holy grail list.
Yeah. So that's pretty dope. And that shows like the importance of these film companies that, essentially preserve these films for future.
And it looks good
too. Like because even at the beginning, whenever I get my movie hauls in, I always like post a picture like in my Criterion Discord. And even in there, like I posted this with that like my haul that came in that month, and for that, and even some guy like comedy was like, "Holy shit!" Like this guy from like England was like, "Holy shit! I didn't know Kisapmata had a Blu-ray release."
Yeah,
Like
and
he knew about it and he was hyped on it.
the the beginning of the film, the Blu-ray, it had a thing going up there that talked about like I love when they do that, just like give a little blurb about
Which
the
one did you
transfer
listen to? 'Cause there's
process.
two of them.
Listen to?
The thing. Oh, I thought you were talking about the intro of the film at the
No,
end of
I
the
was
movie.
talking about the like title card where it says that
Yeah,
like
I
how
gotcha.
they got the transfer done and stuff, and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
said that
gotcha.
the print had like a ton of vinegar syndrome, which is funny, obviously, but
Yeah,
yeah, I thought it looked really good.
yeah. A lot of Filipino films actually kind of have the same type of look as this movie. I've noticed so far.
I like I like Filipino stuff. I've only seen a
Yeah.
handful, but I've liked what I've
I
seen.
I was never really interested, and I actually saw a couple films from Lena Bracco, who's kind of considered like the big guy from there, and I wasn't really that hot on him. But then I started to like just stumble into like the next couple like big directors from there and onto their films. I've liked those a lot more.
Also, I did want to just answer your question a little bit ago, Mods. I did research at the beginning of Tyler's review. So as for like the Forgotten Gialli box sets, all of them are sold out up to volume 5, and 6 still have copies left, and then 7 is sold out.
Hmm.
So 7, which came out the one right before this one, the one that
Yeah.
I really like, that one sold out actually.
Yeah.
But each of there's only 1,200 copies of volume 6 left, and about 2,000 or more of volume 5. So they do sell pretty well, it seems.
Yeah. Well, it's good because then we'll end up getting a bunch more. Hopefully, they can get their hands on some more. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So I did check out the special features on this. It's got a lot of just kind of snippet interviews, and I'm not gonna lie, they really fun. They all kind of said the same thing. They were people that like kind of were involved in the film, and they all just kind of said the same boilerplate things. It was a little bit disappointing. I didn't really find it all that engaging. One of the things they do have, there's two intros to the film where like when someone will come on and like introduce the film, and one of them is by a modern Filipino filmmaker I've actually heard of, Isabel Sandoval. And I think what she had to say and like her influence in like how this movie's like has had influence on her like being from the Philippines was probably the most interesting thing I really saw in here. She also has like a scene analysis commentary on the first scene of the movie, which um if you're I think some people might find it interesting, and maybe this is just me, but it kind of just felt like listening to it was like if you just like sat down and like some sort of like intro like film class in like a in college, like it was just like a 6 minute like kind of academic like breakdown of like the scene. And it's something if you watch a lot of movies, even if you don't realize it, you're probably automatically doing. So I almost kind of like felt like I was like sitting in like an elementary school classroom, and I just thought it just didn't do much for me, but it might be interesting to someone else. um and then there's also a 48-minute, like it's almost like a TV special interview with the main actor, Vic Soleil. I guess he was kind of a big actor in the Philippines. And it's interesting, like in a sense where he just talks about like his like life and career. It's like a little like must have been like an hour long TV special, but at the same time I got kind of like bored from it kind of quick. And it was also like just really like weirdly like kind of like messily made. Uh, and this from like the mid '80s. They're just like a little TV interview. So the special features weren't necessarily great. I maybe would have just like preferred like something from like a film historian or something along those lines. But at least it's something. But so overall, I'm just really happy this got released. It looks really good. Sounds really good. Excellent film. I'm sure more people are gonna see it. You really like it now. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm actually an 8.5 as well.
That's exactly what I gave it to.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So like when you're watching the film, like you talked about, like the the martial law and like, you know, the oppression and stuff. It was a dictatorship in the 60s. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Ongoing when this movie was made. It was ongoing.
Oh, it was ongoing. Okay. So
yeah,
like when they depict
I'm
it,
surprised he really had to like hide it.
it's crazy because like I was kind of thinking that too, like because all the houses that they show in this are all like barred in. Like you have to go through like barred gates and stuff like that. I mean, it's common in places, but now it makes a little bit more sense as to why they were that locked into their properties. So fuck. We have it so good here.
That's I think why this film has had a lot of staying power, where it is also because of its connection to true life events, but really because it was like a big commentary on that. I think is really why it's like stayed like in the consciousness of the Philippines.
Yeah, good stuff. All right,
no doubt.
They just had another dictator too, Duarte. So history repeats itself.
Must be a fucking trend. Fuck. Anyways, Mike, what do you got for us?
So the confession, Tyler's pick I was gonna pick that same movie when I first looked over the websites, but then when I went back to look at the spreadsheet at what everyone had already picked, I was like, oh damn. So I kind of just went in a totally different direction to pick something random I had never heard about. The two reasons I picked my pick was because last year, that movie, The Coffee Table, was about like an inanimate object that ended up being like a crazy ass kind of thriller / horror. And
I think that actually made Moods' top 10.
It was in my top 10. I love that movie.
And the other reason was because
apparently I spoiled it.
Yeah, man.
The other reason was because of the cast, Ewan McGregor and Ellen Bernstein, which 93 years old, man, she's hanging on there and she puts in a good performance. The movie is called Mother Couch. It's comedy, dramedy, family drama. The problem is it's not that good of a movie.
Dude, you know what?
You should have picked Wingard's autoerotic or whatever.
When I
hate Adam Wingard.
When I was writing up the show notes, I needed to ask you what movie you're doing, and I was like, Mother Couch. So I went and looked it up and I read the synopsis and I started laughing. I'm like, it's literally about someone that won't leave the couch in a furniture store. I was like, what the fuck? But then I saw the cast.
Cool.
But then I saw the cast and I was like, Ellen Bernstein, and I was like, this is fucking nuts. I was like, this is a crazy cast.
So the main thing is, like, once that the other movie was already picked by Tyler, I was like, well, pretty much everything I podcast about now just is horror. So I was like, let me see like what non-horror.
Well, that's the beauty of the show is that we do everything on Vinegar Syndrome, right?
Yeah. So I kind of threw like a Hail Mary, and I'm like, well, the cast. It's like, if anything, Ewan McGregor and Ellen Bernstein, they're going to be good. Whether the movie is good. So, you know, it's what the synopsis says. 3 siblings are brought together to try to get their mom off this couch in this furniture store that she refuses to leave. And it basically kind of turns into a family hashing out their dramas, their past traumas. So each sibling, Ellen Bernstein's the mom or the mother character, but they all have different dads. So they're hashing everything out. The first like 20 or so minutes of the movie, it presents itself like it's going to be a straightforward kind of family drama, but then it starts getting into like a little bit of surrealism and what do you call fever dream stuff. And to me, that's kind of where the movie was a miss, because in the right movie with the right script, I do appreciate surrealism aspects and that kind of stuff. It felt like they were taking a risk doing that in this movie, and it just didn't kind of fit. Am I the only one that actually watched this one? Because I wouldn't expect anyone else to buy this one. So
yeah,
we all had place our orders before you picked. So
okay, yeah. I figured like let me make mine.
It's not something I would have grabbed anyways, just knowing me.
But. Yeah, like I said, like I really knew nothing about it. It's just that the cast kind of jumped to because they're going to entertain. And Ellen Bernstein, she's great as always as the mom, and she doesn't seem like she'd be. So this came out in 23, so she would have still been in her 90s, which I mean, she definitely looks like old, but not like 90s old. So obviously, movie magic is going to make you look a little younger and better, but she was great. Ewan McGregor was good. It, it's just family drama stuff. And that I do like those types of movies, but I felt like this one, there's just a lot of unnecessary aspects to it that kind of detracted. It meandered a little bit, and we'd get like a kind of a subpar predicted resolution where things kind of wrap up with a funeral and the characters, decide to go their own ways after hashing out their messed up family drama. But I would say it's like a middle of the road type movie. I would say like it's a 5 out of 10. And I did look up other reviews because I was a little curious. Like, was I underplaying like my reaction? Because sometimes movies with surrealism and that kind of stuff, it can jar you on a first watch because you're trying to figure out everything that's going on. But it seems like most people had a consensus. It's kind of a middle of the road movie. It's the talent in the movie exceeds the finished product, and I think that's pretty accurate here. So I would say, so you're safe to skip this one. Like if it shows up on a VOD service and you're really like eager just to watch the cast do their thing, watch it for that reason alone. But it's not one I would say you got to go buy and order and add to your collection. So I took a Hail Mary and it failed.
Which label put that out?
It was Film Movement.
Film Movement. One
Isn't
of
that
Tyler's
Tyler's
favorites.
favorite label?
No, that's Film Movement Classics.
Oh, okay.
Film Movement's modern movies. That's the difference.
Oh, okay.
Who put out the movie the Kisapmata?
Connie. I did one movie from them last year.
That's the first one that I've picked up from them, I think.
Yeah, they're an all Asian line.
Oh, okay. So what do you rate that movie, Mike?
I would say 4.5 out of 10 because of the cast. I mean, I could push it to a 5, but no, because no one else has seen it and is there to nudge me forward. I'll just stay at the 4.5 because there's always a chance that someone else got more of it out of me and can like convince me that hey, I should up it a little bit. But it's just, for the type of movie it is and the story there, I just felt like there wasn't a lot there with the script, and I kind of felt like the surrealism aspects they were kind of stretching beyond what the material was worth. So yeah, unfortunately,
this sounds like basically a remake of a Louis Buñuel film.
So there's like no good dark comedy in it though. Like it dubs it as a dark comedy / comedy and stuff, but it gets all surreal and shit. Like
there's a very famous like French surreal movie called The Exterminating Angel about this group of rich people having a party that suddenly can't leave the building and just it becomes like kind of like a surrealist.
Oh, dude, I've heard about that movie.
See, that sounds more interesting.
It's called The Exterminating Angel. Like I read the description of it. I was like,
what year was that?
1960. 61.
Yeah, I don't know I must have seen it on some like YouTube list or something because that totally rings a bell.
Yeah,
I like weird shit like that.
I like that. I like the movie A Meal. Have you ever seen A Meal before, Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Sure you have.
The French movie?
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually. I had a chance to see it at the theater like a summer ago, and I just like couldn't make it out.
I'm really surprised. That's your type of movie. That's a really cool movie.
I planned to see it then, and I just never got back to it.
Got the surreal kind of fantasy feel to it and stuff. It's really well written. It's just really good all the way around.
Yeah, this movie actually. I remember the thing that like surprised me about this movie is this kind of had some like mean spirited humor in it, and that like surprised me for like a '60s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Moodz, like about the dark comedy, I mean, I think that's one of the issues is like, if you're gonna call it a dark comedy, like I want some darkness there, yeah, and like comedic, because I can get down on a dark comedy if it's written well and there's like a good story around it, but I felt like this didn't do anything exceptionally well. That was the main issue, and it just kind of felt meandering as far as the story not really going anywhere.
By the way, that movie's Spanish, not French. I just remembered. So
You're lucky, boy. You're fucking lucky that this episode.
Now he made some movies like in the 60s and 70s in France, but I forgot he's a Spanish filmmaker. So I caught myself. Someone would have heard them said,
"You're getting better.
I got you. I got you. You're wrong."
Yeah, it's usually Carly yelling at me like, "Tell Tyler to fucking look."
Dude, imagine if Carly was listening like, tell Tyler that The Exterminating Angel is a Spanish film, not a French film.
You know what? At this point, she probably just checks everything that you say just to fucking be mad.
Dude, it's so funny. Yeah, me totally convinced it was a French movie. I'm looking up like French fucking movie. Fucking Tyler. Wrong again. Fuck.
Did you check out any special features on that, or are there even any special features on that?
There's a commentary, but I didn't have time to throw it on again for that. And there's like a basic behind the scenes featurette. It did come with a nice little booklet. It's just that you're like, I'm reading through a booklet of a movie I'm not that interested in. So
right,
it's like, but it's like, it's cool. And it's weird too, because like it's always weird when like the random releases you never heard about actually package it kind of nice. So you're like, well, I guess I put in the effort to give you, maybe that's because the movie was kind of weak. They're like, let's give them like a little bonus item inside the packaging. But other than that, no, it's not really packed with features.
Yeah, I was surprised when I looked it up and I was like, 2023, what the fuck? I thought it was I had never heard of this movie. So
because between McGregor and Burstyn, you would figure like, even if you hadn't seen it, you might have heard of it just because they're both like A-list, right? I mean, I had never even known this existed.
That's wild. All right, so yeah, 4.5 out of 10. Crazy. All right,
We're on a roll tonight.
We are on a roll. I mean, Tyler's is good.
Yep.
The best one is the most messed up so far.
Well, that's how it always is with me.
All right, so moving into my pick is a film from 1992. So I'm killing two birds with one stizone here.
Oh,
because I didn't actually.
This doesn't count.
Yeah, honestly, dude, IMDb has it dubbed as slasher horror, action horror.
Yeah, this definitely counts,
dude.
Right, I'll count it.
So I didn't even know that going. I like when I originally saw this film coming out from the Geyser Video. It just looked like a Mexican exploitation film, like action film, and I was like, okay. So I get it. I'm kind of looking up. I'm like, slasher horror. I'm like, what the fuck? So I read the synopsis. I'm like, oh, crazy. Okay. So basically, this one is about. I mean, it's a very simple premise, man. It's about this guy named, I think, Raul. Is that what his name is? He is basically going around and he's killing people, like kind of dirty, filthy sinners, because he's a religious fanatic. He's a religious nut, and he feels like he's doing God's work and stuff like that. So essentially we have this, this police officer commanding a chief and like a commander or whatever. They're trying to figure out exactly, who this dude is and stuff. So, so essentially this one is like, it's so fucking weird. So the movie starts out with a huge action sequence, right? And it's basically these two cops, they're like infiltrating like this whole drug cartel and stuff. And they have this huge shootout and you're like, holy fuck, it's like a totally full blown action film and stuff. And then it kind of cuts into like this basically serial killer, and he starts stabbing up women and shit like that. And then it turns into like this huge police procedural, but then it has like so much like commentary at the time, and like in Mexico too, dealing with like corrupt police, and it's suggestive that police are corrupt but just not doing their jobs and stuff like that. And so that's a short and long of the film. So the serial killer in this film is actually played by the director. What's his name? Angel Sancho. And I'd never heard the name before. So he's an actor, but he's known as a director. This guy is directed like, at first when I saw the total, I was like, okay, so these have got to be a bunch of shorts. 129 directorial credits. And I'm fucking flipping through here and none of them say short. Every one I click on is like a full-length film. I'm like, holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty fucking wild. Like just a bunch of Mexican stuff. Like never heard. I don't think he's ever done anything I've actually ever heard of. I did find out from the special features that his father was like a famous actor slash producer and stuff, and he was known for playing villains and stuff, and he actually made like the very first like smuggler movie way back in the day and shit like that, so he's kind of famous for that and stuff like that. But yeah, so this guy, his father had a pretty good career and stuff, but I'd never heard of this director slash actor. I guess he was even in 102 Things acting too. So this guy, is still,
yeah, that dude's a fucking worker.
Yeah, so like he's still doing shit. Like his last directing credits were like from 2020. So, but I mean, it's constant from 1987 until 2020 of just nonstop shit. So obviously kind of maybe an independent. I don't know. They don't really go much into it about the features, about like his full blown career and stuff, but I was kind of amazed at his credits though. I was like, that's pretty wild. So yeah, so basically this movie, it's got like a lot of things kind of going on. Like I said, it feels like an action movie slash slasher slash police procedural. It's got a lot of like little kind of things going on. It's got like this gang that's going around and they're robbing people. They've got like this whole kind of setup thing that's going on. Did you watch this one, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone else watch this one?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. So I think the gang that's in this film is really funny. Like their whole niche, their whole steak thing is like like setting people up in cabs. I thought it was
Bang Bus for a second.
Yeah, dude, it could have been Bang Bus for sure, man. But I just love this, man. They're basically jacking people like in these fake cabs. Well, in cabs, they got this driver and stuff like that. And they're kind of jacking people and stuff. Yeah, so they're basically stealing people's jewelry and shit like that, and they're selling it off what turns out to be this Raul, the serial killer and stuff. And yeah, so at first I wasn't quite sure what he was killing his victims with. It was like this weird kind of like, it looked like a dagger. And I was like, okay, whatever. But then you learn later on in the film that he's actually a jeweler. And it's that thing that you put rings on when you're like showcasing to people and stuff. So that's actually what his weapon is in the film. It's not actually like a fucking, like an actual knife or weapon. It's a jeweler.
It's even crazier because it's a blunt end. It's not like a blade or anything. So he's really got to fucking ram it in there.
Right. So essentially all the kills in this movie are done with that. So they're all stabbings. Getting into like the blood and gore, there is really no gore in the film. It's more just the after effect of blood and stuff like that. So all the killings are very repetitive, as for the movie, man, I can see it. I do enjoy the commentary and stuff. Like there's scenes in the film where, these murders start happening to all these women. And there is a radio host, and she gets on the radio and she's kind of outing the police. She's like, what are they going to do about this? They're very typical police. They're not doing their jobs and stuff like that. And it's kind of a huge commentary at the time and probably still in Mexico. But, she's kind of insinuating corrupt police, but just police not doing their jobs and not giving a shit about like, women that's maybe prostitutes or bad people or whatever. But I mean, the women in the movie aren't really projected as being like, completely bad people and stuff. They're just getting killed off. I don't know. So I get the commentary and stuff like that. But like all in all, like the movie, it feels, it's like such an unbalance because like I said, it starts out with an action sequence. It goes into like this horror element. It feels like this police procedural, and it kind of washes itself and then rinses and repeats itself over and over again throughout the film. It keeps doing the same things. Like there's this one gag in the film where our main cop, who's like this badass fucking, he's very veteran and stuff. And he's like, he gets into the situation where a bad guy's, holding up somebody, and he's like, bad guy's like, drop your gun. He's like, I don't drop my gun. Right. And then it kind of comes full circle with his partner, and something later happens to him. But they play that angle 3 times in the movie. I was like, oh my God, they just did the same sequence 3 different times in the movie. I'm like, this is crazy. But I think the biggest disappointment for myself was like, I like these mismatches, like these kind of like hybrid type films, action slashers and stuff. I mean, Mike's wearing a fucking Maniac Cop shirt. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect for, a contrast to 38 Especial.
That's what I kept saying.
Especial. So it's kind of the same thing. Like you got action sequence, you got the slasher elements. It's kind of, good contrast to it. Just totally different type of quality film. Yeah, so this one, it's a little disappointing with the kills, more or less. The slasher angle, it's just these stabbings. I'm just like, I just feel like they're not horror enough. You know what I mean? Like they're
just bland as hell.
Yeah, they're bland. But like, it's even like our main serial killer, Raul. Like he is claiming that he is, cleaning up the world. Like he's killing off the sinners and stuff. But he's one of those serial killers that is very contradictory, I guess, just like religion. It's a pure hypocrisy anyways, which he doesn't feel like, killing someone and then raping them and killing them. Like, he's going to rape them and then kill them. Like, he's, just doing God's work, man. You're doing some devil shit there too, buddy. So it's like very contradictory. I've always found that really interesting in these religious type killers and concepts in these films where the killer's like, I'm cleaning up the streets. I'm Jack the Ripper, man. I'm killing off fucking prostitutes because they're filthy and they're spreading disease and plague and all this type of shit. But then you're going to rape them. Why the fuck would you rape them if they're dirty, filthy sinners? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I've always had a problem with that in films. This one does it kind of, it's sleazy. It in a sense, but it's not overly sleazy. There's not a lot of nudity or, hardcore actions and stuff like that. The other weird aspect of this movie is that it was shot on 16 millimeter, but it was edited on video. So it has this 16 millimeter look to it / video look. It's really interesting. Like, it doesn't look bad. I mean, if you can digest these types of films, like these type of looks of films and stuff, like if you like shot on video 60 millimeter films, I'm sure you'll appreciate it. It looks fine. But I just thought that was really interesting to shoot a movie on 60 millimeter and edit on video. So there's no, 16 millimeter, edited version of it. It's crazy. So it definitely looks a little bit interesting.
The audio is pretty rough.
Yeah, it's like a full-on dub, right? Like, I mean,
it sounds like they're just in a fucking room recording all the dialogue.
They definitely went in and they probably shot this with sound, and it probably sucked because it's 16 millimeter, and it probably sucked. And
it probably had wind everywhere and shit like that.
Well, what it really comes down to when you dub the audio, when you do the ADR for it, is the mix down. And the mix in this movie is way too high. I don't know if it's Vinegar Syndrome's mix of the audio track. I have no idea. I wouldn't know. But it's very loud. It's like louder. It's clear, but it's like out of mix. You know what I mean? So it's not in the middle. It's not in the middle of the mix.
To me, it just sounded like there's no like ambient, like outside noises or anything. It's just like it's 100% just sounds like it was done in like just an empty room.
The thing is, they do have the white track for it, but it's so low in the mix because the audio is so high that it actually is taken away from it. It definitely is there, because if you don't have the white track, you'll hear the cuts, like when you watch really low budget movies and you keep hearing like, they kind of drop out when they stop talking because they don't have that white track. And the white track is that constant audio that fills in the gaps, so you don't get the dropouts. So if you forget to do that, all you have to do to put a white track in there is just set up a microphone in a room and record like 10 minutes of just natural white sound, and then just use that as the backdrop in your video if you're making like a shot on video or whatever. That's why you get and people just kind of forget to do that shit. I don't know why the fuck they do that. It is there, but the mix is off in this one.
I mean, because it was Mexico in the 90s and they probably had no fucking money making this movie.
No.
Or it also seems kind of amateurish in general. So, I mean, it probably was like first. I don't know.
It almost feels like a PSA.
It's funny. This is such a weird movie because when the one special feature on this movie is basically the interview with the director, and he talks about like how his father had this pretty good career and stuff, and he got into film, and it was actually quite interesting. He was actually in school to be a lawyer, and he had done basically everything he needed to be a lawyer. Anyways, he was doing his like practicum or whatever you call it for being a lawyer, and he was on this case of like the family law, and this family was getting evicted and stuff like that. And he didn't want any part of like evicting this family because he kind of felt bad for them, even though they may have been wrong or whatever. He just didn't want any part of it. So he actually dropped out of being a lawyer, and he just kind of gave up being a lawyer. So he's like, well, I need to do something. I might as well follow my father's footsteps. So he became a filmmaker. It's kind of a weird thing to do. Like, you're going to be a lawyer and then you're like, oh, fuck, I need to go make a film. So it kind of makes sense that his movies are kind of whatever, but he did talk about the fact that like he was very known for being a good photographer. Like he could shoot films very, very well and stuff like that. So he got hired on to shoot tons and tons of movies. So I think that's why I got so many director credits and stuff like that. But all in all, it's a very low budget film. I think it runs a little bit too long. I think the movie could have been probably about 20 minutes shorter. There's a little bit of filler. There's some odd editing in the film. We have this radio host who's actually really pretty in the film. I think she's really beautiful, but she like just meets the partner of like our main cop and stuff like that, and all of a sudden like 2 scenes later they're like kissing and making out and they have a relationship. I'm like, what the fuck? Did you catch that, Tony, too? That was like so
that shit was fucking bogus.
It was so weird. It was like they just met, no interaction after the fact, and all of a sudden he's like dropping her off one day and they're like making out and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I literally said to myself, did I just miss something? But I was totally watching the movie. I'm like, I thought I missed something. It was crazy. But
it's crazy too, because the movie is almost 100 minutes long and there's like nothing about that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like, so they set up like, you know, a certain cop's death with, you know, something they do early in the film, and it was like, dude, I'm just like, it felt so corny to me. I was like, no way, they did
it
not.
Was so funny though.
It was, and I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy. But like all in all, man, like, you know, again, he talks about in the special features about like how shooting action is actually quite difficult to do and stuff, just because you have to use multiple cameras, like there's just the locations, all that type of stuff. And I mean, I thought that the action was okay. The thing that I thought was really funny in the opening action scene was like there must have been 400 or 500 blank rounds shot off and no one was hit for like the first 8 minutes. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, are you kidding me? These are the worst shots in the fucking world. It was like funny to me. But I don't know, man. I mean, I do like the angle that he takes. Like he didn't want to depict, because he talks about like how, you know, back in the day, you know, serial killers weren't idolized. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, like it was becoming a big thing. It was because the media was more popularizing serial killers. And I feel like when Dahmer, you know, basically became super, super famous, that's when people really started idolizing fucking, because he got so much media coverage, man. That was kind of the big one, even for me, because I was at the age.
I feel like Bundy was the big
No, one. It was actually Dahmer got the more media coverage, like actual, like nationwide. Like Bundy was obviously in the news and stuff, but Dahmer got like fucking so much. And I think that's
just because you were around for that.
True, but they actually, I've watched it on like how Dahmer's case was pretty much one of the most exploited fucking media coverage cases of all time because of the extremeness of it and stuff. Bundy's was kind of open the air, but we learned a lot of things after the fact of Bundy's years later and stuff, right? But yeah, and he was talking about like how people didn't really idolize serial killers back in like the 70s and 80s when they were happening and stuff, but not like today. People are kind of desensitized to, you know, that type of violence and shit like that. And people worship, you know, the bad guys, you know, they worship the drug dealers, they worship, you know, the serial killers and stuff like that. And he's like, I wanted to make a movie where, you know, you have this bad person, the serial killer, who is, I wanted him to be bad, you know, like he was a piece of shit. And, you know, I didn't want people to like, you know, root for him. And I wanted him to go down in flames and kind of thing. And I was like, okay, I respect that. You know, I respect that. Even though I think it's pretty funny if the serial killer actually lives in the end of the film. To me, it's like we all like that kind of like crazy fucking ending where I like the dark endings and stuff. For me, the dark ending would have been, you know, like the serial killer walks away and he kills everybody. And then waves. See you guys later. Like that's fucked up to me, right? But again, you know, going back to like, you know, modernized desensitization, I can't even say that word, but like it is kind of true. Like we look at situations because we see people being, you know, idolized and drugged. I'm sorry, my dog is just freaking out here. But yeah, anyways, so that was why the killer, like the angle he took on the film and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so I got into the features a little bit here. Like there's a commentary, and I won't lie, I watched like 3 subtitled movies yesterday. My eyes were pretty cooked. I tried to watch it, the commentary today. I got busy doing shit after work and stuff, but it's one of those, it's a subtitled one. So it's done by actually a Mexican film critic and historian. And I was like, I don't have time to read this fucking movie again. I really don't. So I got about 20 minutes into it and kind of got sidetracked. But yeah, so really the only feature that's on this release is the Mexican King of Home Video, an interview with Miguel Angel Martinez, who is the who plays the killer / director in the film. And like I said, it's only 10 minutes and it's very brief. It does give enough information that's pretty interesting, but I would have liked to actually heard a full length interview with this guy, because to be honest, when I was watching the interview, I was like, fuck man, this guy's a really good talker. He was super fluent. He had me just totally zoned into what he was saying. I was like, this is really awesome. And it was 10 minutes. So it's kind of disappointing in that sense, but But yeah, films like this that are just so obscure and shit like that, like I just would like to know more about them, maybe get a little bit more appreciation for them. But all in all, for a hybrid film, I had fun with it. I thought it was pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's great. It's not my favorite DeGeyser video release so far. It's pretty hard to match up with some of the releases so far. But I give this one probably about a 6 out of 10. What do you give this one, Tony?
I gave it a 6 too. Like, it's not remarkable, but I had a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I would actually watch it again. But I mean, it's nothing crazy. But there was just so much shit that I don't know, man. That whole relationship part, I was like, that doesn't even make a lick of fucking sense. But I did like the bad goofy guys. I did like the bad guys, and I thought the performance by the director was actually pretty decent with the serial killer. But like the one thing I didn't bring up was his mom. At first, I don't know if you thought this, but I thought his mom knew what he was doing until she walks in killing after he kills that one guy, and then she's like, "Oh my god, you're a fucking murderer," and then he ends up killing his mom, kind of thing. And I was like, did you get the idea that she might know what he was doing just because she was so into the religion and he was all into the aspect of like sinning and stuff like that? Maybe I didn't
even think about it really.
Yeah, for some reason I thought maybe she knew what he was doing until obviously you find out that she didn't because he overreacts a little bit. But
yeah, she's a non-violent nut.
Yeah, non-violent, definitely. But like, there's a scene in the film where she's literally on her knees and she's fucking slapping herself with the whip and shit. And I'm just like, cleanse me of my sins. And I'm like, God damn, religious nuts are fucking crazy. Like, that's crazy. Like, who's beating themselves? Who's beating themselves like that, man? It's just crazy. The hypocrisy is real. But yeah, that's 38 Especial. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Especial. But nice release, of course. You know what you're getting with DeGeyser if you're a fan of the label. So yeah, 38 Especial. JP.
All right. My film is Cannibal Girls. From the year 19.
JP, I got you covered. Check out the shirt.
Wow. You actually have a Cannibal Girls t-shirt.
I do, man. It's a Canadian film.
It's Canadian. He has to.
Yeah. So
when you vote in Canada, they actually give you a Cannibal Girls shirt.
In Canada, everybody has this shirt.
So yeah, it is a Canadian independent exploitation comedy horror film. I didn't really get a whole lot of comedy out of it. I guess it's a little satirical.
Well, the whole movie's a satire. It's just it's not punchline comedy. It's just a satire and cannibals, I guess, or just horror in general, I think.
Yeah. Starring Eugene Levy, which is just fucking wild to me.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And he is looking fucking nuts in this movie, dude. He got this huge ass fro. He got this damn porn stash going on. Like, it is the most 70s looking dude I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, big time.
What year was it?
1973.
73, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He could have been a porn star if he probably had a bigger penis.
His voice is even different when he was younger too. Like, and he doesn't have Eugene Levy grew into being a different person, right? Like, you wouldn't act like if you didn't know who he was in this film, you would never put the connection together.
There had to have been like a transition where he became like the one we know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't really know much about his career pre-American Pie. So
oh yeah, he was pretty
he's
huge.
In the Tropophil. I forgot what they were.
He's in lots of Canadian. Yeah, he's in tons of Canadian shit. He's very, very famous up here.
SCTV.
They made a bunch of 90s movies.
Yeah, SCTV was massive in Canada. Yeah.
So I feel like he was in like the Chris Guest like trope of actors.
Oh yeah, he's in all the John Candy, Dave Thomas.
Yeah, like the best.
Yeah,
like he was
all
in, like,
those
Best in
Flash.
All the SCTV alumni, man. It was
Rick
SCTV
Moranis.
was like the Saturday Night Live of Canada, basically. It's kind of what it was.
Catherine O'Hara.
Dude, how weird is that? We're just talking American Pie, and I just saw Stifler's mom on TV.
That is weird.
That's wild. But Eugene Levy. So I forgot. I remember when we were talking about this movie when I picked it. I'd never seen this before, but I remember somebody had mentioned he was in it, and by the time I actually watched the movie, I completely forgot. So I literally didn't even realize that the guy on my screen was him until like 10 minutes into watching him, and I'm like, holy shit. I was like, that's fucking Eugene Levy. It's wild. He just looked like, dude, he is so funny looking in this movie. He's honestly my favorite part of the movie. He just cracks me up. Like he's just wild
I
looking.
wonder if that's his real hair or if he was like rocking a wig or
I
something.
think that's his real hair, bro.
That's definitely his real hair.
it
That's
definitely
a
look-
Jufro if I ever saw one.
Yeah, it definitely looks real, right? But I wasn't 100% sure, man. So
Yeah, he's Jewish, so it makes sense.
it does
in
make
real
sense.
life. So basically the film opens up with like a snowy forest setting in a small town in Ontario, Barnhamville. Fucking weird name. Where a female killer with an axe hacks up a couple. Hacks up one person and rubs blood on the girl's chest. Then we flash forward to I forget what it is, like 6 months later or something, because we run into the girl from the beginning's brother who is looking for his sister, and he runs across the two like leads of the film, Clifford and Gloria, who are played by Eugene Levy and some. Oh, also I forgot to mention this is directed by Ivan Reitman, who you might recognize from such films as Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, as well as Kindergarten Cop, Meatballs, Stripes, Twins. Quite a lot of movies, honestly. And funny enough, they actually show in Ghostbusters 2, they're watching Cannibal Girls at the theater.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat. And then I didn't know this or remember this, but in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the latest one, there is a VHS tape of Cannibal Girls.
In what?
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Oh fuck! I must have missed that. Unless I did.
Yeah, I missed it too. I just read that in like the trivia section.
Crazy.
But that's pretty cool. Like a callback to
Nice.
Cannibal Girls from 1973.
Wow.
But essentially, this couple kind of breaks down in this town. There's actually a funny line where the girl says like maybe the cars broke down because there's not enough air in the tires or something. And I'm like, bro.
She's like, "Are you sure there's enough air in the tires?" And fuck, dude, that's the funniest line in the movie because it's like the most woman thing to say dude. Ever.
It is. It really is. So they run into this person, ask where they can get a room at. They go to this old lady's like motel or whatever, and she tells them a story of these cannibal girls. Flash forward some more time, we get some, honestly, like the only real kills in the movie coming up there besides that opening kill. And then we are introduced eventually to this dude. What the hell is his name? Reverend Alex St. John. Is that who it is? Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is.
Dude, I hate, like, that guy reminds me of like the dude from like Wizard of Gore or something, and I just hate those characters. But anyway, he's basically controlling like the whole town and the Cannibal Girls and stuff like that. And then honestly, I feel like this movie gets like really dull in the like middle of it. And then it kind of picks up again at the end. Gets a little bit weird at the end with like the way that the town is acting. But one cool thing about this movie is it's one of the rare movies where somebody dies via mace, which is a pretty rare killing device in horror movies.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of cool. You get some T&A with the Cannibal Girls. To me, this movie feels, so first of all, I think this movie has like that good like Canadian vibe that like Bob Clark captured. in his films, like especially that like children shouldn't play with dead things and Death Dream a little bit, but like it does have that like cool like Canadian vibe, even Deranged, which I reviewed a few months ago. So it has like that same era of
like for me, it doesn't resemble where I live at all. But it resembles where it's shot, like in Ontario, like all those movies that were shot in that area. That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Small town Ontario is exactly like that, even to this day. Out here, everything, because Canada was built from the east to the west, so everything's new. Nothing's like that out here. It's just, there's so vibe, the difference. So it's such a different vibe. So
I mean, I feel that way in the US too. Like,
but you live in one of the most like older areas of the US. Yeah. So everything's, so like, you know, like everything's kind of like super old, but out here, it's like California, man.
Right.
Just different.
Yeah. Like the like Pennsylvania is a very like dated area. You know what I mean? It's just very like old feeling. Like even like the houses around me are all built in like 1900, you know?
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it's
everything's brick.
Brick and just a lot of woods and stuff in my area.
Southern Ontario, like everything is brick. Out here, if you saw a brick house, that's because someone
wanted a brick house.
Yeah, exactly. You would never see one out here. No.
Yeah. So it does have a cool like vibe to it. It's like, you know, still at that time, well, early in the time where Canadian films were being filmed in Canada because of like tax breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that like to me it also feels like it almost should be like a vampire film. Like, did you get that? Do you ever get that vibe when watching this movie that it feels like it feels like it's like capturing like what a vampire film would be doing, but instead it's just like these cannibals?
Yeah, I can see that. I never like ever really thought that, but like, I mean, but I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
There's not.
It seems like there's like a supernatural like presence, like the way like some people can be like brainwashed and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all done by the like that dude in the fucking cloak or whatever, the Reverend guy. But I think that whenever.
Because brainwashing and cannibalism usually doesn't go together.
Yeah, it just feels like.
But I guess that's where the satire comes in, because they're kind of satire in the horror genre. It's like, you know, why not just do this differently? Because maybe it worked. We'll get people thinking it's going to be a vampire film. It's actually a cannibal film.
Right. Yeah. And the girls are pretty hot and stuff and naked sometimes, which is cool.
Yeah.
But the actual like cannibal and like there's not a lot of like good like gore or any effects or anything like that in this one. The cannibal stuff feels very secondary for a film called Cannibal Girls. You know, it doesn't really feel like it's a major part of the movie. You know, there's some other weird like I don't know, like henchman type guy that looks like a homeless mutant or something. I was almost hoping we got more of like a backwoodsy like chainsaw vibe with this one. But I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on it because I do like the movie. But I think I was just expecting a little bit more exploitation just based on the title and like what it was about. And I felt like it was a bit tame.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, man, because when I first saw Cannibal Girls, which was probably only about maybe 20, I don't know, mid 2000s, something like that was the first time I saw it. I didn't like it. And and when I bought the DVD, I had rewatched it again and I was like, okay. And I still didn't really understand that it was like a satire. And again, I watched it, I think, twice since I got the blue. Well, this is a Canadian version of Blu-ray. So that's what I watched. But I actually appreciate it a lot more for what it is, because now I understand what they're kind of doing. It may not hit on all marks with the satire and stuff like that, but if you're going into this film thinking it's going to be like a straight up horror film with, you know, blood and gore and, you know,
which is kind of what happened to me. I didn't really know I didn't know really anything about it. So
they were even playing off like one of the biggest angles for this was they were kind of satiring like William Castle, because there is again, even on my shirt, the picture with the warning bell. So there is a track you can play this movie where it has the warning bell, where all the the nasty shit's gonna happen, and it goes ding 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 ding. I didn't.
That shit was so goofy.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
I
so
played it with that warning bell. It's really
so
funny.
so it's like a satire on
And
like
there's a little chime when it's okay to open your eyes.
yeah.
See,
So it's like
stuff
William
like
Castle.
that.
So they were kind of doing the satire on William Castle because William Castle made that gimmick cute, like famous, right?
Yeah. I've always been. Oh, there goes Toronto. They won. I like the gimmick. I mean, it's just such a bygone like thing that doesn't really exist anymore. So
Yeah.
I always appreciate like the art of entertainment, if you will, and I think that is something that is like notable and cool. But yeah, so overall I thought it was just okay. I would be curious to see it again down the road, maybe when we pull 73 or something, if I watch it like knowing that it's supposed to be a bit satirical, if that would make me view it a little bit different and enjoy it a little bit more. But yeah, for now I'm just going with a 6 out of 10 on this one.
It does make sense though, because Ivan Reitman, like if you look at his filmography after this and stuff, like everything he's done has been comedic,
like comedy. Yeah.
It's all been dark and like comedy and stuff like that. Like what you say about Ghostbusters, whatever, but everything is comedic, right? So yeah, I think it's fun, man. Like I've grown over the years on this one, and actually, this was probably one of the funnest watches I had. I was laughing out loud at like, I'm so glad you brought up the tires, the air in the tires thing, because that is the funnest part of the movie. I was laughing at it, man.
Yeah,
so good. It's so
that
good.
was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
So what did you rate? What did you rate it?
I'm at like a 7.5 in this one. I think it's really fun.
Tony?
I think I'm at a 6. I think I pretty much had almost the exact same reaction that you did, JP, watching this movie.
Okay.
It was a first time watch for me too, and yeah. I was confused sometimes, but then like it was really slow at the beginning. I was really into it at the beginning, or it was slow in the middle, and it really like pulled itself at the end. I really liked the way it ended.
Yeah, I like the way it ended too, especially the fact that we got a mace kill.
Right.
But
the storytelling, I grew an appreciation for it too, like the way they tell the story and the way they kind of set it up and stuff like that. I guess watching
like
one
an
time,
urban legend type thing.
Yeah. I think it might be just a lot better on a second watch or whatever. I don't know. That's the way it was for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, for me, the whole cannibal aspect was a little confusing, and I didn't really understand why it was there. Like if it was like a Messiah of Evil type movie, but Canadian, that would have been really fucking cool.
As I mentioned to you guys before the show, I had a really crazy week this week, so I didn't really get into any special features, but I was like, I could either watch like a couple things or not watch any, and I decided not to watch any. I usually do the commentary. I'm like the guy that usually does the commentary. But I didn't check out anything on here, but there is a new audio commentary with Canucksploitation.com film historian Jason Pekanowski.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. And then 2 guys and a chainsaw episode. So they put someone's podcast on here. Which has an epilogue about Canadian horror on there as well. And then there is a bunch of little featurettes and interviews, like 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 27 minutes. There's a ton of archival stuff from probably Moodz' release there.
The only stuff I have on this
2010
is on this Blu-ray. I got interviews with Eugene Levy, Ivan Reitman, and Daniel Goldberg. There's the short film that he did in 1968 called Orientation. It's like a 20-minute film. And then there's the alternate track with Warning Bell. I think it's very similar to my DVD too. Obviously a little bit more features.
Yeah, that new one has the Warning Bell, right, JP?
Yeah. It has the Warning Bell. So the old stuff is the Horror Horn, that's a 2024 interview about the Warning Bell soundtrack, which is kind of funny. Cannibal Guys, 27 minutes on that. These are all from 2010. Archival interview with producer Meat Eugene, Meat spelled MEAT, which is a 20-minute interview with Eugene Levy from 2010. So I assume that a lot of these are probably from that release that Moodz has. Never before seen outtakes from Meet Eugene, so that's new.
I think there is some different features on my DVD than the Blu-ray. So
French opening credits. I don't know why the hell anybody would watch that unless you speak French.
French
Yeah,
Canadian.
the 68 1968 short film is on there. And then man, there's just there it actually has a ton of stuff on this
Crazy.
this release. But yeah, that is my review of Cannibal Girls.
All right. Cool.
Not doing any more cannibal movies for a while.
That's 2 in a row, right?
3 if you count Deranged.
Yeah, I count that. Sure,
So,
why not?
Yeah, literally I did, but like this year has been all cannibal movies.
That's hilarious. I forgot that you did fucking White Cannibal Queen. God, what a fucking piece of dog shit.
Yeah, it's actually sitting here on my desk. So.
Oh man, so bad, so bad. All right, so yeah, that's going to conclude the solo reviews. Let's get into these featured reviews, which I guess technically is like kind of another Cat 3 featured review. It's interesting. That's interesting.
2 Cat 3 titles, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just did a Cat 3 show in 22 shots, so it's really interesting. This is not even planned. It's just the way it went down. So
yeah.
All right, so first film here from, of course, Hong Kong from 1983 is called Devil Fetus. Has anybody seen this movie before this release came out?
Tons of times.
Okay, so I saw it once.
I'm joking. I've never seen it.
I used to have a bootleg of this, and it was so fucking bad. Like watching this time was blowing my shitter out.
I will tell you what else is so bad. Whatever anybody does, if you're going to watch this movie, do not watch the English dub. I turned it on for about 5 minutes and was like, nope.
Oh, I should have watched the English dub. Damn it.
No, you shouldn't have.
No. JP's right. Do not watch the English dub. So I was watching the Cantonese track, I think, and then I flipped over to that. But they have the Canton or like Hong Kong people doing the speaking English, and you can't understand a fucking thing.
You need the subs on,
dude.
so with the dub.
It sounds like they're still speaking Cantonese.
But the funny thing was
the audio is so much lower
incredible.
too.
So the
audio
track
is shit, dude.
The track is mixed shitty, and the funny thing is, if you can actually make out what they're saying and you're reading the subtitles, it's a completely different movie.
Yeah, dude.
So I was like,
I turned it off after like 2 minutes. I was like, this is one I cannot watch.
It's an easy, like honestly, to watch the regular, dub track,
I just like the
Cantonese
dubs
track
with these like less like I guess serious movies. Like
right.
Sometimes the dub adds some like flavor to it.
Right.
But
honestly, watch it was fun.
On this one.
No, this one was totally fine. Totally fine. So 1983's Devil Fetus synopsis. A woman becomes possessed and dies after a monster is released from an antique vase that she purchased. 12 years later, the
antique jade vase, motherfucker.
Jade vase. 12 years later, the monster is reawakened. First, he possesses the family dog before moving on to the woman's nephew.
Did you guys know that they stole some sound bites from The Thing in this movie?
Did they really? I didn't even notice.
Yep.
Do you know which parts?
Like sound
like monster noises?
Yeah, I was gonna say it must be.
I don't actually know.
Because I was gonna say
that.
Music wise would have been Morricone. They would have got fucking nailed with.
No, that's they did steal his shit.
Oh shit, crazy.
Yeah, but they just like use small samples.
Maybe
it's kind of hard to sue people in other countries where copyrights aren't the same.
Yeah. But the problem is with having that type of shit in a film, it makes it hard to get released anywhere else.
Right.
Like say North America, Devil Fetus, man. Who wants to start their thoughts? Tyler, what are your thoughts on Devil Fetus? I asked you guys who wants to start, and I just appointed. So that was dictatorship up in this motherfucker.
So I kind of feel similar to Devil Fetus. Like I felt like that movie Dr. Lamb we talked about not that long ago. Whereas there's like parts of the movie that are individually good and there's like good effects, but overall I thought this movie was kind of just I felt like nothing happened for like an hour in this movie, and then you start to kind of get satisfied by it. But I, this movie was kind of a mess to me. I'm not gonna lie. Anybody else feel like that?
Yeah, I'm kind of with
Yeah.
you.
I feel like that way as well. Like I thought the opening was really good. Like this chick's like kind of like getting
Oh,
seduced
that
by
was
this.
also one thing I thought was weird. I almost felt like
Okay,
this
I
was
was
shot
not
by
talking
two
or
different
anything.
people. I'm sorry. I jolted a thought. You jolted the thoughts in my head. I felt like this like was shot by like two different people. Because the first half, there's a lot of kind of like silky, like soft, like cinematography and some like cross-dissolved editing, and then they were just gone like in the second half of the movie.
Well, they
It just
do
became
some
like
really
ultra
cool,
camp.
but
Yeah.
there is some good lighting in the end of the movie.
Hmm.
A lot of colors and stuff. I always like that.
Yeah.
But no, I thought the beginning was pretty cool. Like I like the idea of like this chick being like hypnotized by this vase and bringing it back to her house, and then the vase kind of like seducing her, and then like I like when they play around with the idea that like what's happening like underneath reality, right? Where it's like this vase is just on top of her, but then like what's really happening is like there's like a demon on top
She's
of
getting
her.
fucked by like a trash bag monster.
Yeah, and then when
The-
the dude
the
comes
greasy
in
strangler.
and his face gets all fucked up with maggots and shit, I was like, oh, this movie's gonna kick some ass, dude.
Yeah.
And then I agree with Tyler a little bit. I feel like it slows down a lot, but I do like the mythology behind the movie a little bit with like the priest guy and putting like a magic to like hold the energy of like the dead and stuff like that. And then the chick comes over and knocks off the little papers, which
Yeah, he explains
I love
the
their little
dwelling in
paper
the end.
magic.
what's that, Tony?
I just love like the paper magic from all those like Hong Kong movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like how it
Just throw a
transfers
little
too.
piece of paper on them. Fuck it.
Like
Yeah.
how
Just
it gets
paint.
transferred over to the place too, because it like comes outside and gets stuck on the vehicle. I'm like, well, that's convenient.
and to be fair, like I blame that fucking dude, because it's like, dude, if you know that this is like some serious shit, like you might want to tell the person like, hey, don't touch these things.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know, but like I was thinking the same thing, but I don't think that he knew exactly
well, he didn't
what.
know why, but he knew. He freaks out whenever she touches it.
Well, because
so
he knows that it shouldn't be disrupted, but he doesn't know like what the result could actually be.
No, he definitely doesn't know what the result is.
Right,
But the fact is that he knew his grandma was going to be fucking eated, so he should have said something going into the room.
Dude, I think this movie is fun as hell, man. Like I do agree that there's a little bit of slow parts, but like like when her fucking is it her husband? Yeah, it's her husband. When he walks in and he sees like, you know, like we see like her with the vase, but then he sees like this fucking like devil fetus fucking creature like on her and shit. I like that aspect, because at first I was like, why the fuck did he see that kind of thing? But they do show that later on in the film that like it's kind of like disrupting your reality. You're actually seeing that type of shit. So I thought that was actually kind of a cool concept.
I was saying that kind of the same thing while you were gone.
Yeah.
Like that aspect.
But like my favorite part of that scene though is when he grabs it and smashes it. Like he just reacts like a motherfucker. Like that must be coming from the vase. Like what the?
I knew it. I knew you should have bought that fucking thing.
I knew it, man. I fucking knew it. But dude, when he fucking his face gets destroyed and it's like all maggots and shit like that, there was a missed opportunity in the scene when he goes out the fucking window. We needed the dummy.
Dummy death would have fucking
dude. Where was the dummy? Because we get a good one in the next movie, and I'm like, oh my!
So they waited till the next movie.
Yeah, dude. But like, where was the dummy death in that scene? But like, that was really cool. I really liked like how that progressed. Like, it was so instant. He just starts rotting in worms and shit like that. That's one thing about this movie I think is actually pretty cool. It's fucking.
He jumped out the building and died with no soul.
No soul, man. And like, there's some nasty shit. Fucking worms always gross me out, dude. Always gross me out. Like the
maggots.
whole
I'd eat them.
The whole birthday scene where people are like eating shit and stuff, and like, you know, there's worms in their mouth and stuff, always makes me gag. But
they don't bother me at all.
Speaking on that, like, this is one of those films that I always find really interesting because it doesn't really know what it fully wants to be. Like it progresses itself like it's a haunted house film. Like shit's like happening around the house.
Yeah.
It feels like it's
There's
a haunted
even
house
shit
film.
like straight up, like the chick on the bed is like fucking floats up to the ceiling.
Yeah. There's
Right.
like shit.
So many like little hijinks, like
Yeah.
possessing the dog And then the dog's like sniffing and licking around her pussy, and she's like starting to like it for a second.
Yeah. Like there's so many weird things about this one. It's like, it's got this whole kind of devil fetus thing happening. It's got this haunted house aspect, but there's like no rules to it. It's like
that guy getting
you can
squashed. That made me laugh.
Yeah, so you can fucking possess animals and you can make inanimate objects move and do all this crazy shit, and you can possess people. And it's like there's no rules to it. It's just like batshit. It's completely batshit insane. You don't have to make any logic of it. You just take what's happening on the screen and you just kind of fucking roll the punches, right? Like Young MC would say. It's really
like
weird.
The concept behind that, like anything can happen thing. I just feel like they didn't fully go for it.
Yeah, I feel like the majority of the really good stuff happens probably in the last like 25 minutes of the film, where you get like this whole bad shit. Like it's very typical Asian Hong Kong, cat through, not even cat through, even Shaw Brothers. Like there's so many films that just do this. They go crazy at the end of the movies. It's like
that's what it felt like, a Shaw Brothers horror light to me, because like the setup was good, but then I felt it kind of meandered, but then it rebounds in a big way in that last 20-30 minutes. Once we get that sequence where I guess they were trying to get the demon out of that guy and all the crazy big over the top stuff happens, like that's when it like really raised my eyebrow, like, okay, now it's starting to get fun. It just felt like it took a lot to get there. You had to get through like the middle section of the movie where it just was kind of paced. But then once we got to that, it made me think of like what the Shaw Brothers do with the horror stuff. It's just that the Shaw Brothers movies, it's almost like from start to finish. It's like all throughout it. It almost never lets up. There's little downtime so because of the setup, I was like, oh, that's what we're going to get. And it just took a little bit longer to get going. But I really did like that last 30 minutes. Like that makes the movie.
This is Golden Harvest, right? Is that what it is?
I know the other one is.
I don't think so. I think this is like an independent.
It's in so it probably explains a little bit why it's a little bit more low key with the effects and stuff. And like a Shaw Brothers film, like you said, will have an abundance of shit going from A to B kind of thing. This one does it. Yeah, Your Vengeance actually, I'm pretty sure is Golden Harvest though.
Yeah, I remember the logo, the Golden Harvest logo pop up for that one.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like this movie, it's very interesting when you watch it, because I'm noticing tons of fucking things in this movie. Like I said, it doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like it's a haunted house film. It's a fucking demon possession film. It acts like an American slasher film at time, haunted house film, but it tries to be so American. It's like, it's very Asian in the content, but then it's very American on the flip side, because they're really trying to project like a slasher type angle to it. And it's like, it's so funny, man, because obviously the product placement is just what they did for the film, but like the Coca-Cola and the copper tone, suntan lotion and stuff. And even that scene where the possessed brother's in his room and he goes to jerk off and stuff, like with the copper tone, like, which I thought was probably one of the most low-key funny moments in the film. I couldn't believe that he was breaking out the copper tone to do this. But if you look at the walls, he's got like Kiss posters on there. He's got Farrah Fawcett on there. He's got all these white women. It's just jacked full, no pun intended. It was just jacked full of like American shit. I just thought it was really interesting. You don't see it a lot in Asian films where they Americanized everything so much, but it's such a Hong Kong film. You know what I mean? It's very odd to see. I thought it was very odd. Yeah, so I was like watching this going, shit, dude, like there's so much fucking influence. And then JP brought up that they jacked out the thing and stuff. So they were very much influenced by American films here. They were looking for influence, probably to sell it off, right? If you make it a little bit more relatable to a different market, then they're probably more likely to pick something up like that. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, I think this movie's really fun, to be honest. Like it goes pretty bad shit. I just wish there was more. Like, I mean, the whole dog thing, I'm just like, okay, so when the dog gets possessed, it's not going to end good. Fucking first of all, who names their dog Bobby? Who names their dog Bobby? I don't know. It just seems like a weird dog name to me.
It's a cute dog name.
But I have to admit though, like when he ends up killing the dog,
dogs human names.
I think it's funny when people do it. Honestly,
I
wouldn't do
dogs.
it, but I think it's funny.
I have 3 dogs.
Yeah, but at least yours had a theme. Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah.
Like, it's funny to me, like, if you go over to someone's house and they're like, this is my dog, his name's Steven. Like, that's really funny to me. I don't know why.
You're a fucking dork. That's why.
I like it too. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
You're a fucking dork as
Like,
well.
this is Steven.
One of my buddies, his dog's name is Stan.
To be fair, I did name my dog Dexter.
I mean, that's
pretty
human.
never name my pet like a person name, but I think it's really funny when people do.
My buddy named his dog DOG. He just spelt dog DOG. He's like, what's your dog's name? DOG. I'm like, dude, that's clever, man.
I named Carly's. I named Carly's cat. I'm a G. I'm a G.
I know. I get it. I get it. What the fuck?
I'm a G.
Oh man. Oh man. But yeah.
I just
So
called
like,
my cat Choop Choop, and it kind of just stuck.
so when the brother, which I fucking found that there's so many, like this movie's so Asian, man. It's like, so, you know, they get to this place and stuff, and then all of a sudden, like the niece of no, she's the goddaughter. She just shows up.
What the fuck is a goddaughter anyway?
So if the parents die, if you're appointed as like the godparents or whatever. So
Yeah,
like,
it's
say if me and
it's
Aaron
like
died off and I
it's an
appointed you as the
unofficial
godfather, you would get my
designation.
kid.
So you would like
I didn't
basically
know
hate
that.
me.
It's not a legal designation. It's more just like
Oh,
an
okay.
unofficial. Like it's a trusted. It's usually like a trusted family.
You
friend
you
or
can make it
other
legal.
So
family.
basically,
You can make
pick
it legal.
somebody that you hate that you're friends with, and you.
Well, they have to agree to it. So like there's a mutual agreement. There's a mutual agreement. There's a mutual
Yeah, you
agreement.
can't just pick someone.
Yeah, no, they're actually, yeah, there's
They just show up at your house one day, like Publishers Clearinghouse. It's like, surprise.
yeah, you can make the things legal,
Big
but there's
balloon
a
child.
mutual agreement kind of thing. But yeah, like the scene where, you know, like, yeah, she's like this goddaughter there, and of course it creates this like kind of romantic thing and stuff. But anyways, there's a scene where the good brother, he gets attacked by the dog and shit, and he goes to the hospital, and like 5 minutes later, like the way the editing is, he's out of the hospital and he's like swimming in the pool, like having a good time and shit. I'm like, bro, like you recovered like a motherfucker. You just got attacked by Bobby. Like, I mean, that's a big ass dog. It's kind of funny to me, but anyways, later on, like shortly after, the dog gets possessed, and he has to kill the dog. But I actually like that scene, man. Like when he fucking hacks that dog up and that blood splatter, I was like, that's pretty cool. It was a good amount of blood. Not bad. Would have liked to see some gore, but we do get the gore later on, which I think is pretty nasty. But the scene where they're burying the dog, and that's when the brother gets possessed, that is got to be one of the cheesiest fucking like digital effects, early 80s effects I've ever seen. That shit made me howl, dude. I was pissing myself because I swear when I first watched this movie, like when on my bootleg, that wasn't visible.
Dude, the
No, that was
optical
happening.
effects in this movie are insane. Like that little fucking like
so
possession ray from the dog, and then the priest versus the demon have like a laser fight later on in the movie, and it's fucking ridiculous.
It's like Shaw Brothers, but on like a tenth of the budget. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like they just didn't have the budget to like really flesh out the effects. They're like, oh, we'll do this and we'll make these really cheesy like in-house sound effects. These catalog sound effects. It was funny. It was
people always talk shit about the optical effects in Hellraiser. Like this is like that, like maybe a tenth of like the talent that had.
It's so funny. But man, they really fuck with this dog in the film though, man. Like not only do they kill the dog, they fucking bury the dog. There's a scene where they almost play like a jump scare. It's like a haunted house kind of like, you know, jump scare scene where this dog is like hanging from the roof and shit. I'm like, what the fuck, man? But to make things worse, the possessed brother actually digs up the dog, and at one point in the film has it underneath the bed, and he like rips it open. He starts eating the guts and shit. I thought that was nasty. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, there was some
That
like
was
nice
pretty
rib
gnarly,
cage
yeah.
action there to make it look a little cool.
Yeah, it looked fucking nasty, man. Like there was a few parts in this kind of made me gag a little bit because I'm not a big fan of like eating cake with worm in it. So that whole sequence was pretty nasty.
I'd
I don't
eat
know.
I thought
How
that
many
was
times have
funny.
you tried?
I just don't even like that whole sequence is so bizarre to me because it's like it goes into what I was saying before about this film doesn't really know what it fully wants to be. It's like this possession film, but at the same time it feels like it's like a haunted type thing. Like how is this happening? You know, but you just gotta roll with the punches. I don't really care.
You ever watch like a reality show where they have like a gross food challenge or something? Like I know Mike has with the challenge, but or like Survivor or anything.
Like Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Fear factor. That's what I
Like
think
for
about.
me, if you put like a plate of mealworms on the table and like a plate of mashed potatoes, like I would struggle way harder with the mashed potatoes.
Oh, dude, I love mashed
Then
potatoes.
wow,
You load them in
Are you
fucking
retarded?
butter and sour cream, man.
I fucking dude, I'll start gagging.
Shut up.
You don't. What is it? What is it? What is it? Is it the texture of mashed potatoes? Because my kid can't eat them either. He
Wait,
loves
is
French
JP
fries.
literally
He can eat
gagging
potatoes,
right now?
but he can't eat mashed potatoes.
Dude,
I
I
can't.
can't.
Jacob's about to
Potatoes,
fucking
dude.
horn.
I
He's just
can't.
thinking
It's like a
about it.
mental thing, dude.
I thought JP was
You
messing
thought I was
around,
joking,
and then I'm like,
and
wait
then
a
I
minute, I
like
hear
actually
sounds
start
too.
gagging.
So JP at Wasteland, we're gonna go out for dinner,
Stop,
and I'm
stop,
totally
stop.
gonna get a big fucking thing of mashed potatoes.
Let's go to
With
a nice
gravy.
steakhouse.
With
Stop it,
gravy.
Mike.
Eat it around him.
Let's
That
go to a
is-
nice
My eyes are
steakhouse.
literally watering.
That
right
is
now,
so
dude.
funny. I've had those
It's
moments on the
Mashed
show too.
potatoes.
Dude,
So
like nothing grosses me out. Like usually, like just certain fucking.
do
certain
mushrooms
things,
gross you
bro.
Yeah,
out?
worms. It
No, I
doesn't
love
matter.
mushrooms.
JP,
Yeah, see, that's
say
weird
out
because
loud
most
what
people
grosses
can't
you out
stand the texture of mushrooms.
I love mushrooms. That's
Me
my
too,
favorite
man.
pizza topping. I'll get like triple mushrooms.
I love deep fried mushrooms, man. Oh,
So do I.
Oh, man,
battered
that's
and
so
deep fried
good.
mushrooms. Oh, I love them.
Like I have a weak stomach when it comes to stuff that I can't even like think about certain things. Like my grandfather was
Like
like
what?
this. I can't.
Like
I
mashed
can't,
potatoes.
I can't, bro. Oh my god. Okay. It's Devil Fetus, pretty crazy movie, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
speaking on the effects and stuff, like I mean, that dog, ripping the guts out scene was really cool. I think the funnest scene in the film is when the face gets all smushed. I think that's pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
That's
The
one of
head
those.
crush.
Yeah, that's one of those like huge claustrophobic moments where you're like everyone fears that shit, but like I thought it actually looked pretty fun.
It looks sweet just because it was like clear plastic, like a clear plate, and you could just see it pop.
Well, it's funny if you watch that scene like twice, you can like the walls seem like they're actually moving. Like it's so cheap. Like he probably could have just got out of there. Like they're not real walls.
Yeah, like they're like wobbly as they're clearly just two people like just pushing you forward.
It's just like picnic tablecloths on there and shit. It's like so funny.
And the wallpaper, you can see the wallpaper like peeling off.
The 80s wallpaper, totally. Man, I think that the scene where at the end of the film, I literally laughed out loud. I was like, fuck, man, if you played a drinking game every time he cuts off his brother's demon head, you'd be so fucked. It's like,
I love that. It just kept
laughing
coming.
so hard. I was like, oh my God, it's hilarious. It happens like so many times. And then it's just over. It's like, okay. But yeah, I mean, thinking back on it, man, like I had a really good time with this. I mean, one thing about the movie that really stood out to me was actually how well the movie was shot. There's a really cool scene when I think when they show up to the house, and there's this really interesting overhead shot. Like you don't need to shoot it from the overhead, but it's looking down at the big front French doors or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, that's really interesting shit like that. But there's multiple shots throughout the film that are like shot from these weird angles and shit like that, like overheads and down below and here and there. And I'm like, you know what? Somebody had a vision here. They had a little bit of a vision and they weren't just doing stoic shots and, typical tracking shots and shit like that. But like they're doing overhead shots when you don't need to. It kind of gave it a different kind of flavor. It kind of gave this like all over. For me, it felt like it melded into the sporadic narrative where I said like it didn't really know what I wanted to do. So throwing in this mix of like this kind of interesting cinematography, I thought was really, really wild.
Tell me the mashed potatoes discussion didn't put JP out of commission right now.
He's actually done. He won't even come back for the next review. He's probably puking.
Have you witnessed
That
this
is
before?
crazy.
Is this something you already knew about JP?
Nope.
'Cause,
I've known JP since
Nope.
2011.
I mean, I've known him for a while now too, and I never.
This
even
was his
heard
Kanye
this
West
thing.
moment.
This is
14
almost like a mashed potato phobia that he has. Just the
Yeah.
mere thought of mashed potatoes just sends
Dude,
him in like
Moods, you know now. Next time you like meet up with him at a convention and you guys like go to a restaurant afterwards, what you got to order?
Well, it's
right on
literally
the-
going to
That's
be in
what you
October.
say.
That's what I just said. It's going to be October. I'm going to go to a restaurant and order a big bowl of mashed potatoes with gravy and just, oh man.
Let's go to a steakhouse.
And to
get
fuck
out
him
of
up, since he likes mushrooms so much, I'll put some mushrooms on top of that.
Can you make it an extra creamy mix of mashed potatoes?
Load
That's
it up.
wild.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Should bring up that scene from Scary Movie 2 with Chris Elliott with his fucked up
Oh,
gimp
yeah.
hand, like stirring the mashed potatoes.
Dude, totally. That makes me gag. It's like, dude, it's all like
He's all like sticking the little pinky in his mouth, like eating it and shit.
Hi,
it's
germs.
great. I actually think he's done. He's not. Oh no, I see him coming back. You can see him in the shadows there.
The shadows.
Hey guys, I gotta get off. I'm sick.
Oh fuck.
This movie, even though it didn't have a dummy death, it did have a projectile cat, it's just another one I really love.
Mhm.
Where like a crew person from outside the frame just launches the cat at the person like in the screen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite little
That's a good one. I
tropes.
know. Yeah. I don't even.
I always
think
look
about
out for one.
that. Yeah, I
JP,
never
you
think
all right
about that.
there?
I like that too.
Yeah, I'm good.
Dude, have you guys ever seen the Oily Maniac before? Like
Yeah, I
the
feel like
super,
I have, but
super
No.
rapey movie. Dude,
I've had that fucking.
I've
88
seen the
Blue
Greasy
for years, and I
Strangler.
haven't watched it.
Chrissy String was awesome.
So like that scene where the dude was like jerking off with the fucking suntan lotion, I'm like, and he was like getting all rapey and shit in the film. I'm like, man, this could be a sequel to the Oily Maniac, because that's really what that movie is, man.
The
It's
first time I
rapiest
saw
movie.
Oily Maniac, I was like, "Oh, this is a prequel to the Greasy Strangler."
Yeah, exactly.
The
man.
devil fetus kind of looks like a fucking oily maniac.
That's what got me thinking about it too. That's exactly what got me thinking. I'm like, when he was like all greased up, and then you see him, you're like, kind of the Oily Maniac. It really is. Maybe there was some inspiration taken from that shit, but it's so funny. Like to me, every time, it doesn't matter what Cat 3 movie we're watching, even in general, like just a lot of Hong Kong films in general, there's always a fucking rape scene in every movie. Is there not?
Yeah.
Am I just tripping? Like
you gotta have it.
it's
Almost just like in every 80s movie in general.
It's a signature Hong Kong moment.
yeah. Like
Yeah, Hong Kong movies feel like they almost always have some sort of sexual assault.
there's always a rape scene. Yeah. I mean, we're done. I mean, you can't.
Even if it's
I'm not
funny,
saying
too.
rape scene 4,000 times next review. So,
Yeah, we can't avoid it.
Yeah.
but yeah, this one even has that type of shit in there too. But I mean, all in all, man, I like it, man. I think it's fun. I mean, you know, the whole like how it transfers over. I'm like, I again laughed out loud. You know, you got that paper that kind of transfers itself outside onto the car, and whoop, take it to the next place, and you know, it's pretty convenient. But you know, there was no rules in this film, and that's what I really liked about this. It didn't set itself up to be like, okay, this is how we're doing this, and if we break this, it's going to be ridiculous. But I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. It's honestly more American than I ever remembered it being, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So, feeling anyways.
It does feel very American. Like I even noticed
Yeah.
at that birthday party, there was like 3 perfectly placed like token white people like dancing in the background.
Yeah, and when you're watching the natural language and they're talking Cantonese, I'm like, this is stupid. Those white people can't speak fucking Cantonese. This is so dumb.
Right. And like the perfect like dialect and like accent and everything.
Right. They all think they're fucking Wayne from Wayne's World. Learn a little bit of Cantonese, right?
Ooh, King Chao Chao Ting.
Zang. Like,
He speaks like 15 languages in Wayne's World too.
yeah, so good.
He's speaking like
Yeah, I remember like
Begurgan,
watching.
Bajurgan.
I remember watching like I think this part is in the second one anyway. But I remember like watching that scene where he fucking like fights James Hong and like not understanding the whole dub thing because I was a kid. And like why like he was suddenly speaking English like that. So I was like 6 when I first saw it. I never like saw it.
Oh, dude, we were all like that because it just went from there.
I remember being so confused the first time I saw that as a kid. Like, what's going on here?
Where did they come up with the mythology to stop the Tibetan sex demon with the fuck? I mean, this is a little bit
Probably
rhetorical.
on set, if I had to guess.
Yeah, this is a little bit rhetorical, but like, to stop the Tibetan sex demon, like using the blood of an eagle. Since when did Hong Kong cinema incorporate like the blood of it, like eagle stuff? That's so North.
That's the bird of America. They got to use the blood.
It's so North American, but that's where again I was like, man, it's so American influence, North American influence, because like the Native Americans and Native Canadians and stuff like that, like eagle's a big thing. Like it's I could see that being in the folklore of or in the mythology of something like this, but like in Hong Kong cinema, it just felt really out of place. Actually, that scene where I'm pretty sure they killed that animal for real. That is not an eagle. I'm pretty sure that was a chicken. They show an eagle, and then when they grab the neck and slide it, I'm pretty sure I'm fucking hoping that was a chicken.
That was real, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was real.
Yeah, they wouldn't have killed an eagle.
There's no fucking.
Are there even eagles in Hong Kong to begin
with? Thank you.
Where do you even get an eagle?
I literally was wondering the same thing. I'm like, I fucking swear there's no.
I'm sure there has to be some.
Maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe we're just.
I mean, like.
Yeah.
The climate's correct.
I mean, the climate is correct.
It's possible, but like
I've seen like Hong Kong wuxia movies that have eagles in them.
I mean, I see eagles every weekend I'm out of my cabin. Like we got an eagle's nest over on the side. I see eagles all the fucking time, and like when that dude grabs the eagle and cuts the throat, I'm pretty sure it was a chicken at that point. I mean, right. Even in that cinema, like killing an eagle on screen, I honestly, if that was real. A real eagle, that's got to be one of a kind, because that's insane to do.
That's like terrorism.
It is. Don't kill eagles, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge in Cal. Like you do not touch eagles.
That's war crimes.
Yeah. So
a declaration of war.
But whatever the animal was, pretty fucking sure that was real. So there's definitely an animal death in the movie, but which I know a lot of people. We're talking about all the things that people don't like. We're talking about like rape and fucking animal killing, so it's not all about that, but all in all,
people who don't like those things.
Fun film.
There's fun lasers too, so don't worry.
Oh yeah, the third act has some really ridiculous. What about the wheelchair scene? The wheelchair scene, that's pretty fun. I think there's wheelchair scenes in both films actually. Shit,
I don't even remember the wheelchair scene from Devil Fetus.
Yeah, I think there's a wheelchair scene in this one. I don't know.
No,
lots of good wheelchair
scene.
Oh no, there's lots of wheelchair scenes in the next one. Like it gets.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
It's not often you say like one movie's wheelchair scene steals the thunder from the other movie's wheelchair scene.
I don't think there's a movie in history that steals it from her vengeance.
That was pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Shit, man. Shit. You guys have anything else on the movie? I honestly don't.
Nah.
I mean, I still want people to see
all my notes.
We've already given so much away, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we've given a lot away, but at the same time, the movie is like such a kitchen sink type movie. It's like we really didn't give anything away.
Right.
Like we didn't give away like any like plot points. I'm sure like the people listening, if they haven't watched it, are just like, what the fuck are they even talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kitchen sink is actually a really good way to describe the film, because like I said before, it never feels like it knows exactly what it wants to be. It wants to be Hong Kong, it wants to be American, and it mashes up so many subgenres together. It kind of makes for a really entertaining watch, but I get where you would come from saying like there's a little bit of downtime here and there. For me, I was like hella entertained through the whole fucking thing. I don't know. I guess it's because I watched so much Shaw Brothers stuff and all these other films. I don't know. I just knew it was going to get to that point. But what Tyler said, he was kind of disappointed with the whole Dr. Lamb thing. This was not as disappointing. I wouldn't even say this was disappointing at all. Dr. Lamb was disappointed considering the history that it had, and like how much it was talked up and stuff. I feel like Devil Fetus wasn't really on that level, in my opinion. But that's just me. I don't know. So
it does the important thing, which is like finish with a bang. Like it definitely, if anything, you can say like once you get to that third act, from there on out, it's kind of smooth sailing with like just the fun sequences.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bunch of fun shit that's happening throughout the film. Just a bunch of bizarre shit, though. But it's cool. It's cool. Ratings? Anybody? Tyler, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. There's individual stuff that was cool, but as a cohesive story, I don't think it was great. But it's fine. 6 out of 10.
Mikey.
I'll go a half point high. You do half points, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go 6.5. I actually agree with Tyler on this one. Maybe I just got a little bit more out of it, but overall, yeah, I'd say 6.5. Only because when you look at this to comparable movies and what I would rate those, I can't justify rating it as high as those ones. So 6.5.
Yeah, we don't do no 0.5, so 6.75. No, ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, the 0.25 is not allowed.
No.
I love the 0.1.
Tony.
Dude, I'll kill you.
Yeah, movie doesn't make much sense. It's kind of stupid, but I had a lot of fun watching it. I love the optical lasers. The dog shit made me laugh. The head crush was great. There was some really good stop motion effects at the end that we didn't even talk about. And yeah, I don't know, there's way worse ways to spend 90 minutes, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
JP.
Yeah, I agree with Tyler to an extent and Mike, and I agree with Tony as well. I think when you start listing off all the stuff that's in it, it makes it sound really awesome. I think that there's just a bit of a dull point in the movie outside of that stuff. But I still like it a decent amount. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I like this one the most, obviously. Like I said before, I don't think JP was here when I was talking about the cinematography and the really unique shots, like the overhead shots and the down below shots and stuff. I think it gets kind of lost in translation when you're watching a weird ass movie like this that's kind of like, what Tony put it as a kitchen sink movie. There's so many different things that are happening. You're kind of focusing on, this and that, the possession, the Americanism of the film. And I'm noticing all these things, but there were certain elements that were really kind of sticking out to me. And I was quite impressed with it, actually. I even noted, I was like, yeah, damn, I can't believe they did this shot. I can't believe they did that shot. That's pretty wild. And then, yeah, Tony kind of stole the shit on that. But my last note on the actual, before my overall notes, was there were some pretty cool stop motion effects in the end with the head. It's literally the last thing I even wrote down. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they did that, because you don't really see a lot of stop motion in these type of movies. I thought that was really unique in itself, being a lower budget film, to do something like that when you really didn't have to, in the end of the movie. I thought that was just a really unique way of ending the movie. But any movie that can make me gag over and over again. I mean, eating dog guts and stuff is it is what it is, but it's the cake with the worms. I hate worms. I mean, what they really could have done to put it over the top for myself was have pus on the cake. That would have really ruined it for me. And in JP's case, put some mashed potatoes as for icing on the cake. That would have fucked it right up, man. What do you want? Icing on the cake?
Pie.
No, with shepherd pie cake. But I don't know, man. This one I have a lot of fun with. I think it's pretty good. 7.5 for myself. 7.5. I think it's
nice,
definitely worthy. I would rewatch this in a second.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I'm glad I have it.
Yeah, definitely rewatchable type of movie.
I mean, to be honest, this was like watching it for the first time for myself, because my bootleg was so bad. It was really, really bad.
I have a few of those.
Yeah. All right, so moving into the second film here, we're going to take it all the way to the glorious year of 1988. With a film called Her Vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Quick little synopsis here. A woman seeks revenge against her attackers. That's all it's written there. Nice and simple.
That's all you need.
I mean, essentially, that's exactly what it is. It's a rape revenge film, essentially.
Yep. Rape revenge is always a fun genre for me. I don't know. I like. Is
it just me? Is it just me? But when you're watching like Hong Kong cinema, the antagonist of the film, which is the 5-guy gang here, and I'm talking about the fucking cheeseburger chain. So there's
These
five bad
guys
guys.
were so fucking funny looking.
So there's
they all had like
Oh
their
my
own
God.
distinct little cartoon looks. They look like almost like Fat Albert like cousins or something.
dude, I literally wrote in this. So
I
there's
love
an
the
opening
show the
scene.
girls were putting on before that, though. That was awesome.
Wow. Okay. So there's a scene where our main character, she works at this, like, I guess it's like a burlesque type show kind of thing, whatever.
Yeah.
She's like a boss there or something like that. But she's not one of the entertainers. She's someone that directs or does whatever her job is. Anyways, these five guys, they go and sit front row and they steal these reserved seats, and they're just beyond obnoxious. Like, they're just saying shit, they're throwing shit, blah blah blah, and they're asked to leave, and they start, fucking.
It is like so over the top, ridiculous.
Calling them bitches, and
just the worst guy.
They suck.
It's like literally,
and it's like immediate. It's just like fucking
Yeah.
nobody's even gonna chill for a second.
It's so obnoxious that it feels cartoonish. Like, there's nobody actually really like this unless you're completely trash and you're out of your fucking mind. But it's five guys just being all the same. They're just out of control. They're calling her a fucking bitch or spraying her with cannon. And all they were asked to do was just tame it down or like possibly get out of the seats kind of thing. Nothing major, right? Like, they're just, I'm like, what the fuck? So this opening shit happens, and she's kind of the one that tells them to, fucking settle down and shit like that. Ultimately, they end up getting kicked out. Her job, and the night ends for her. She's walking home, of course, and it doesn't go so well for her. She gets attacked by these five guys. Again, not the burger chain, disclaimer. They ultimately rape the shit out of her, which is one of those rape scenes where it's so fucking awful to watch, because they're not only like, it starts out where this dude jumps on her face, puts his dick in her mouth, and punches her in the face 3 times. I'm like, can you get any more disrespectful than that? But not only, but like, it's one of those scenes where you got five guys taking turns.
The first guy, yeah.
But they're constantly laughing and pointing at her. Like, it's just beyond, like, it's not even a serious rape. They're just laughing. They're just like, hey, I'm fucking raping her. Like,
so weird.
it's so over the top and cartoonish, but vile and
fucking nailed
disrespectful
it.
at the same time. It's
It
insane,
is
dude.
literally cartoonish.
But it's vile and disgusting at the same time. You're like, what the fuck am I watching, dude? This is crazy.
It's
Yeah, it
it's
makes
like
you
a
feel weird. I
tonal,
liked it.
it's like a tonal
That made me
conflict
laugh.
because it's like they're dehumanizing her, but they're so goofy looking that it's like
It's funny.
It's
yeah,
like
but
horrific,
it
but
shouldn't be
these
funny
idiots.
because it's
I
like
know, but
such
it ends up
serious
being kind of
subject.
It's
funny.
also
You know what I
it's
mean?
also not even graphic because
Right,
there's
yeah.
barely any nudity.
I feel like if they
It's
did
mostly
this and
just
it
like
was-
close up shots.
I don't even
and
think there actually
reactions.
is nudity in that rape scene, though. I think it's just
No.
them being super
Yeah, I don't
violent,
think so.
very violent and violent, a lot of laughing and disrespect and
a
stuff.
lot
yeah.
of close up reaction shots of these
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
goofy ass.
If it was graphic and they were acting like that, this would be a whole different fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, like that whole
I wouldn't
scene.
have been
Just,
able to handle that if it was like really. I think because it's not graphic, it makes you take it a little bit better.
so basically, after this happens, she's kind of fucked up from it, obviously, and like there's this really nasty scene after where she pulls out like a little like makeup mirror, like a little vanity mirror. She's having like these pains and stuff. She checks her vagina, and
my
it
God,
drips it drips blood on the mirror, and I'm just like, ugh. And like instantly, that's what gets me going. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, gross. So she goes to the doctor, and he's like, it's the
Dude,
weirdest
this
thing.
doctor
The
is the fucking
doctor's all
weirdest
pissed
thing.
off. He's like, you have a venereal disease.
You're gonna die.
You're gonna die if you don't
It's gonna
take
go
these
up into your
medications.
uterus.
Yeah, like he keeps
Canal and gives you
escalating. Like
cancer.
what he's saying, like you have sores, and if you ignore them, then this is gonna happen. And then this
I'm
will
like,
happen,
dude,
and
what
then
the
this
fuck?
will
Yeah,
It's
happen.
like he was
Fatal
it's like
gonorrhea.
he was raping her with his words again.
Yeah,
It's like she was in
like,
trouble.
You're
After like 5
You're getting with
levels of
irresponsible
escalation,
lovers.
he's like, "You'll die, man."
Yeah, dude, I was like, calm the fuck down, bro.
It was a
I think
very
it's
odd scene.
wild.
Very odd scene. The way he was kind of yelling at her.
I thought
even
it was gonna be a dream sequence, bro. I
Yeah.
thought she was gonna be like, oh, it's not like that. It's like being fearful of going to the doctor or whatever, because feeling like it would be like a victim blame thing or something. Thought it was gonna be a straight up dream sequence.
Mhm.
It was not.
Yeah, so that's
That
crazy.
is
So,
such a
anyways,
weird-
They told it like it was in 1988.
so all the shit goes down, and she fucking bails out of town, and she gets the fuck out of there, and she goes and basically moves off to a different town and stuff, gets a job, moves in with this girl. And I think who is brother Hung? Like brother, he was married to her aunt. Is that what it was? Like the dude in the wheelchair? Like he,
I can't remember.
Yeah, so she has a blind aunt. And I think what happened was he had left her because he got like, I don't know. I think the storyline, anyways, when she moves off to this different town, she hooks up with like her, I think it's her aunt's, basically her uncle, I think is what it was. But he's all fucked up because he lost his legs and she was blind and stuff. And there was this whole thing they separated because all the shit kind of happened and stuff like that. But we obviously get introduced to this guy and a little bit of a backstory to him. Like he was obviously like a martial artist. Like he had, you know, he has a history with like this type of stuff. And so anyway, she starts working at this place and stuff like that. And one day, you know, she ends up seeing one of the attackers randomly. And that's when her revenge starts. So, you know, I kind of like the setup too. Like a lot of rape revenge movies is where, you know, you have the victim seek out, you know, the assailants, you know, one by one and stuff like that. But in this one, it's like she's like almost like entrapping them. Like she's actually playing games. Like she's like finding them and then she's like figuring out ways to like, you know, kind of
track them down.
Yeah, to track them down. And so I thought that was actually kind of a cool angle to this. Like she's taking the point, she's making a point of like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of fun. But I actually really thought like some of the revenge in this film was pretty fucking nasty, dude. Like the one dude in the car, man, fucking nasty, man. Really well executed scene. I thought it was really cool. The dialogue was super funny as hell because she ends up like kind of coaxing this guy to like, you know, take her out and stuff like that. And dude, what he says to her, she's like, yeah, let's go get a bite here. Or you want a midnight snack? And he's like ripping down a zipper and shit like that. And so they pull over and he's like, you know, she's like, you don't recognize me? And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, you once raped me. And he's like, oh? He's like, how about my turn? And no, and then he goes, how about you rape me then?
It's kind of a good comeback.
It was kind of a fucked up line. I'm like, what did this guy's like
wait, what can I do now?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? Ultimately, she attacks this guy in the car and she fucking cuts off his ear with a pair of scissors, which is so gnarly. Gets behind him and chokes the shit out of him. It's actually it's a pretty good death scene, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the film? I kind of went like into that point, but
I think that wheelchair shit is fucking epic.
That it definitely is the wheelchair kung fu.
Yeah,
was
dude,
pretty awesome.
It was like it would like fly through the air.
That dude's such a
Crazy,
badass. Lam Ching Ying, like he's pretty much like the highlight of every single movie that he's in.
Yeah. I think the training was hilarious, man. When he was like on the rail of the building and shit like that, and he's like doing a wheelie on there and shit. He's going to the end, and all the training on the wheelchair was hilarious, man.
Yeah.
I wish they had given a little bit more backstory with him because we obviously know that he was once like this fierce fighter or whatever and stuff like that, and he, without really a lot of explanation, he knew something was wrong, why she was there and stuff. And he never really tried to talk her out of it. He's just like, but you know, you should kind of watch yourself. You might get dead. But he was willing to even help though. Might get dead. So, you know, like he's willing to help and shit like that, which I kind of liked and stuff. But man, I really liked this movie, man. I thought this revenge movie was fucking awesome. Like a lot of the
definitely like this a good bit more than the last one.
Dude,
yeah,
like
I did as well, man.
Fuck, dude. It's just, you know what I thought when I was watching this? I was like, damn, dude, like everybody is getting dead, dude. Like from the roommate to fucking everyone's just fucking dying. Like there was so much carnage in this movie. It was fucking wild.
Should have been called Their Vengeance.
Literally,
there was like 15 different like things of revenge in this movie.
So much carnage, man. Like so much goddamn carnage.
So much retaliation.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty wild, man. I mean, overall, I thought it was, you know, it was shot pretty. I really liked the cinematography. Again, there was a lot of dark scenes that looked really damn good. The music was actually pretty good in this film too. It kind of worked for what it was.
Yeah, I like that, like kind of like synth score it had.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good use of shadows in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of really good ones.
Yeah, I think the goofiness, of the antagonist almost made it like a fun movie when like fun isn't always like what you think of in a rape revenge movie. But
Right.
Treat for yourself.
well, between the antagonist and the wheelchair kung fu, it was just like a fun time. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I, thought
also
this was
agree with
definitely
you.
supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I also didn't realize until like today that this is kind of a remake of the Shaw Brothers' Kiss of Death from '73, and Kiss of Death also inspired Clint Eastwood's Sudden Impact, which is also similar plot. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. 15 years earlier.
What the fuck is with people puking in this movie? There's a lot of scenes with puking. And I love
when she goes to clean that first dude's
Without
puke up
gloves.
I was like, dude, bro.
She did it with her bare hands.
like
That was the nastiest part of any movie we watched.
I know that was fucking nasty.
That's
You know what's
fucking
like
was funny.
this gang is like so degenerate that like they see they're like rolling down the street. I love this part, man. They're like rolling down the street and they see this dude
in the street wasn't enough.
They see this dude and he's like puking out this. He's in the passenger seat and he's like puking out the car. And the guy's like, So they follow him into this building, goes to take a piss, and they fucking jack him in the bathroom and steal all his jewels and shit. I'm like, motherfucker, these guys are super degenerate, man.
Yeah, they are.
But I do like the fact that like this whole movie doesn't just follow our lead character and her revenge. It actually keeps showcasing the story, the narrative of these like this thug gang and what they're doing and stuff. Like there's a really interesting scene where they're super degenerate, like they're just walking around just jacking people in bathrooms and shit. But there's a really cool scene where they jack a like an armored vehicle, and how they do it is they fucking set it on fire because they know they can't get in there, and they make them get out, and that's how they steal the fucking money. I thought that was really fucking cool, man. Really cool. But it breaks up the whole thing of just straight revenge, right? And
you normally don't see that follow like the antagonist in these type of movies.
Right.
That is kind of different.
Yeah. But it still had that, that whole kind of breakdown. You have to have that whole montage of like training in the wheelchair and shit. But like when you get that first scene where the guy attacks in the wheelchair, I think in the club or whatever, that is fucking wild. It's shot really well. It's edited. It looks really cool, dude. You're like, how the fuck did they do this, man? There's some really interesting fights. Like it's typical.
I mean, it's completely ridiculous, but it's
that one
it's
move
dope to see
where like he like pulls that dude's Achilles tendon to like trip him. That part like made me cringe so fucking hard.
Yeah, man.
It's just so simply just like it's like
oh man, dude. Yeah, there's so much good stuff in this, man. But I still think like actually the one part in this film that really kind of got to me was in the end battle where they have like all the booby traps and like all that crazy shit happening. Like I love that, man. They're just I was thinking while watching this, I'm like, JP's gonna hate this, man. They're like making booby traps and making all these weapons and blah 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 and stuff. But like there's this crazy scene with the dude in the wheelchair. I'm assuming he's the uncle. And he's battling this dude and he's kind of losing a little bit and he's biting on this bamboo and he's getting fucking kicked in the head and it just looks vicious and you feel so bad for him because he's like the good guy. He's trying to help out and shit. And he's just taking this nasty beating. Like he got his arm broken and he's got no legs and he's biting on this bamboo, but he's getting kicked in the head and they show it like 10 times. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like brutal,
like,
man.
This guy's still alive.
It's brutal, man. It's just fucking brutal, man. Like, oh, dude, this is actually one of my favorite watches I've had in a while. This is crazy watch, but so much craziness.
The aforementioned dummy death, which is really cool, and the way it was cut, it was like awesome. The smack on the ground.
Oh yeah,
the brutalness and the bleakness that led up to the dummy death too just made it even better.
I was expecting that shit to cut away, and then it like hits, and you're just like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Oh damn."
Because it didn't have like the usual flailing like sometimes dummies do. It just like was like straight smack.
Yeah, they used like I'm assuming like more of a stiff dummy because I was like, what the fuck? That thing wasn't flailing around.
It was so
you can make a whole documentary about the art of the dummy death.
It's the best thing in cinema, man. It's the best thing in cinema.
I don't know, because like maybe it's just because like the whole movie was just kind of fun to me at that point. Like when that happened, I just busted out laughing at like how dark it was.
Yeah, I actually rewound it because I was like, wait a minute.
I
Make sure I
kind of
didn't
just
miss any of
couldn't
the
believe
flailing.
like that's what happened in the movie, and I just like started busting out laughing.
But that's what I mean about this movie. Like every character that gets introduced is free game here, man. That was her. Like what made that dummy death so brutal is that her sister was blind, bro. Like she takes this vicious beating and gets fucking tossed and dies out the window. And like you have this,
She Gordons herself.
yeah, basically, yeah. Well, of course, but like, and then you got this like this dude that's kind of like, I wouldn't like. How do you classify the guy that's like with our lead? I don't remember what her name is.
Oh God!
But this guy,
You know,
like,
we
always
were talking about really shitty like love interests earlier tonight. This is another really shitty love interest. Like the whole love angle in this movie is such a waste.
Yeah.
but it's not like overly so bad for myself. I just feel like this guy's like a taglon that just kind of I feel like she doesn't want anything really to do with him because she's more focused on her objective, which is the revenge of the five guys, not the burger chain. I don't know why I keep saying that.
I don't know. It's
Just in case
It's
anybody
funny,
was
like
confused.
they're the five guys, but they were like more like the seven dwarfs. Because you got like the dopey one, the silent one, the fucking boss, the sleepy one. It's like they all have their like distinct characteristic.
mhm.
Like the droogs.
Yeah.
The crazy one.
So you can tell them apart.
Yeah.
But man, there is some fight, like that whole end scene though, man. There's some nasty shit. Like, I mean, honestly, like some of the effects in the final scene with like the skin hanging off his face and shit, it doesn't look great. I mean, the transfer is almost too good for those effects because it makes it look pretty bad.
And her like biting the fucking wound.
Dude, that shit made me laugh. I was like, that's so gross.
That shit was fucking wild.
Yeah. But it looked like fruit roll-ups just hanging off the guy's face. I'm like, okay.
Probably
No.
tasted like it too.
It probably actually was. But yeah, man, just straight carnage in this movie. I feel like this movie, I was surprised while watching this, the pacing of it. It felt like there was no downtime at all. Like there was always something going on. Like, I wonder what the body count is. It's got to be pretty high for a movie that isn't like an action
finale
film or a
was
slasher
really
film.
cool.
Like it's a movie that people are just
That whole-
dying every
The
5
entire
minutes.
cast
finale
doesn't
in the
make
movie
it.
was Cool.
Yeah.
Just like kind of beefed it up at the end too.
So, Tyler, is this going to make your next top 10 Christmas movie list? Because this one
It
takes
might.
place apparently at Christmas.
Kisapmata's right in line. So
So we got two Christmas. What are we doing? It's summertime, and we're
might as well
doing
just throw
Christmas
Eyes Wide
movies.
Shut and take the Band-Aid off.
Jesus.
No, there's literally one scene in the film where you get a little bit of Christmas, and I'm like, oh shit, it's a
Yeah.
Christmas movie. Yeah.
That's all you need.
Still more Christmas than Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Although that movie does have really good effects, though. Give me that.
Screaming Mad George.
Yeah, Brian
love that
Usna.
movie.
Brian Usna, man. I mean, honestly, if it just had a different title, people would love that movie.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
I'm never watching it ever.
Watch part 5. The Toy Maker.
Yeah, I'll just skip the 5.
4 is good. I like 4. Part 3 sucks. Part 3 is
Part
literally.
3 is the worst in the series. It's
In my-
ass.
I agree.
I love Part 3.
No, you fucking don't.
No.
Yeah, I do. Don't even look at my letterbox.
Bill Mosley.
If
Bill
you don't
Mosley.
believe me.
Bill
Tony
Mosley.
Psychotic,
Bill
I can see
Mosley
it.
with the fucking salad bowl on his head.
Bill Mosley
Oh my
told me
God,
that's
I
the
love
worst
it
movie
so
he's ever
much.
been in. He told me that's the worst movie ever
Bill
was in.
Mosley is full of shit. That guy has been in. You tell me that guy. He cannot say that. I am so sorry. The shit that motherfucker.
Dude,
has
I was
been-
totally lying about that. I didn't
Okay.
talk to him about part 3.
I was about to say, I'm about to find him and just smack the taste out of his mouth.
Oh shit.
Oh man. Ratings?
So yeah, so just a little brief history on this movie. So
Oh.
for the people that don't really fully know about what Cat 3 really means, Cat 3 is just a rating system that's used in Hong Kong and started up in like 1988. And so this movie was kind of like in a gray area because it came out around the time that they went to this Cat 3 system. And the initial rating on this movie was like Cat 2B, right? So there's obviously, different cuts of it and stuff like that, but it's been backtracked to like Cat 3 and stuff. So the movies that came out before 1988, hence Devil Fetus, from 1983, a lot of those films were like back rated, and that's why those are Cat 3 films. But yeah, so this one kind of has a weird history because it was rated at that time and it was never considered to be a Cat 3 film. But
I thought that it was two cuts of the movie. Is that not the case? Because isn't there two versions that you can watch?
Yeah,
it's a 2B
actually, if you
version.
want to watch Cat 3 or Cat 2B, I watched the Cat 3.
yeah, and I think
So do you think it was released originally like in its cut format and then later?
it must have been because it got a Cat 2B rating around the time that the rating system was changing, and then maybe they back rated it the other version. I don't know. I'm not too sure on that. I know
The
Parker
2B version's like over 10 minutes longer, isn't it?
Yeah, and
somebody said that it has more story stuff and less like other stuff.
I'm assuming that they probably cut out
graphic stuff.
probably all the good stuff and just
They
make
should have
up a
made an
story.
integral cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Good old
Which but again, going back to the pacing, I feel like this movie itself, like the Cat 3 version, is paced really well. Like I feel like there's no downtime. I was never bored for a second. I was always waiting for the next scene. It was always interesting. I mean, as goofy as the five guys were, that it was fun to watch them because it was just so cartoonish, but at the same time, it was still super serious. And it wasn't like it was this weird offsetting balance that was really working for me throughout the whole film.
I just wanted to see him die.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but like I really liked, the introduction of like, the uncle, and our lead she was cool, man. She was cool. Like she's not like the most outstanding lead in the world. She obviously doesn't have the chops to be like, a kung fu artist and stuff like that. But like I think she did a really good job in the role. And it kind of played out right though, because it felt like she was a normal person getting this revenge, right? She kind of gets fucked up a little bit in time. Actually, a lot of times she gets fucked up because she's not a professional. She's not.
Then she stumbled into a lot of like happy accidents too.
Yeah, right. So I respect that in the writing too. They didn't make her like, you see some revenge movies, all of a sudden it's like you go from like a normal like, waitress to like kung fu master. I'm gonna fuck your ass. I'm like, dude, no, you don't
She
just
gets
learn
like
that shit overnight.
tattoos. She cuts her hair. She gets
bandana,
badass.
gets the bandana, and you're like, no, that doesn't work like that overnight. I can't even learn that shit, and I'm a master. So, but yeah, good shit. Good shit. Anything else on her vengeance? You guys have any other little tidbits and stuff? Did anybody watch any of the features? Because I actually didn't. I wanted to.
Did anybody watch the other version?
No.
Yeah, good question.
No, I didn't watch any features in this.
I thought you said you
crushed the
were
last
thinking
couple.
about it, Mike. Did you not get to it?
Yeah, I just ran out of time, but I was thinking about it because I thought I read that like the 2B took out like some of the graphic stuff, but like filmed other like story stuff for like to put in its place. So I was kind of curious, but I just didn't have time.
They might add more to like the boyfriend angle to the movie.
Oh God, please no.
In that case, never watching it.
Oh man, there's a fucking feature on here called Her Vengeance in Category 3 Rape Revenge Films. It's 11 minute. It's a video essay. Yeah, so it talks about rape revenge films, which is probably, I'm surprised it's only 11 minutes long.
Very extensive. Comprehensive documentary on rape revenge.
Yeah.
Grape revenge.
Ratings?
Yeah. Mikey, what do you give this one?
I thought this one was pretty fun from beginning to end. Not much downtime. Featured cool deaths. The antagonist being over the top kind of helped lighten the mood a little bit. And then some wheelchair martial arts action. First time watch for me. I'm gonna go with an 8.
Nice.
Tony.
I'm also going to go with an 8. I had a good time. I really enjoyed our gaggle of rapists. They're just like making me laugh. Like whenever they would do, they're just it's weird saying it, but they were just such interesting characters to follow in this movie. Like anytime they're on screen, I was just like glued to it. Like to me, they were the most interesting part of the entire movie, besides Lam Ching Ying in his wheelchair. Like he's a badass as usual.
Hmm.
He had old man makeup, which looked horrible, but I appreciated it anyways. But yeah, the movie, it's weird, it's whimsical in places, but it's also bleak as fuck. And I really loved it.
I also forgot to mention the score. I did like the score, especially that in the end. The score at the end was like good.
Yeah. Is it Tyler or me?
It's you, then me.
Did Tyler go?
I went first last time.
It's last.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. I'm right with you guys. I give it an 8 as well. I liked it a little bit more than Devil Fetus. I actually watched this one first, then I watched Devil Fetus because I thought Devil Fetus was that's the one I had heard about more, so I thought it was like the main event. So I watched it second.
Chronological order, man. Come on.
I don't even look at what years these come out until after I watch them.
That is so fucking weird.
That is crazy.
I can't do that. We can't do that.
Why is that crazy? Like most normal people don't look at the years that the movie.
I actually
came out
only
before
watched
they
Devil
watch-
Fetus first because I had more time. So when I watched
No,
it, so I
dude,
watched it
it's my OCD. I have to do everything in sequence, man. I can't watch a movie from '88 and then go.
What
to
if
'80.
what if the
And I
movie's
just-
from the same year? Do you go look up which one came out first?
I do. Well, that's how we just did that in the
That's how,
Cat 3.
yeah, that's how we do the reviews.
And I
actually
found
kinda
out that
like
two
that
of those
too.
three films came out the same day, and I was like, "Oh my god, which one did we do?"
I'm kinda
Alphabetical
like-
order.
I do
Yeah,
that
at
too.
that point, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a specific reason not to do it in chronological, I just always default to that.
Right.
Same.
I just don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, my mentality just can't help it. But, anyways, so this, I forgot to mention this film is directed by Nang Choi Lam, who, I mean, honestly, dude, we seem to be covering his movies like every week here. We
Really?
just fucking
Yeah,
reviewed
dude.
The Cat.
Wow.
You know, we did
I did the Seventh Curse.
did
2
the
months
Seventh
ago.
Curse a little while ago. I'm pretty sure we have reviewed Ricky O before. I just watched
Yeah.
Erotic Ghost Story like last week. Like this is crazy. Like,
That's
and
a
here we are
great
with
resume.
Revengeance. I'm just fucking like, what the hell? So I'm loving this dude's films because everything I've seen, I've loved. Really, really good stuff. And it kind of makes sense after, finding out who directed this and looking at his other films and shit. Actually quite different stuff, but very similar. I love this movie, man. Pacing's great, dude. Oh, the score is awesome, man. I think it's just there's so much vileness to this, and there's great revenge. A lot of cool stuff, really ridiculous stuff with the wheelchair, but the body count is exceeds my expectations. Like I can't believe that pretty much everybody expected to live dies, which is always a plus. Like when you start killing off blind women and shit like that. But the one thing again, I don't understand what's with the puking. There's even a scene in the film where this dude's like randomly in this bar and he pukes on the jukebox. I'm like, why is that there? But I don't care because it's funny. And then 5 minutes later, some dude gets jacked after he pukes on his car. I'm at an 8.5 on this one. I really like this movie.
Nice.
7.1.
Go fuck your mom.
Shut up. 7.
Yeah.
7.1.
7.1.
All right. So what is the release of the month? Tyler, what's your release of the month? We'll go back to the top here.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the rapey Filipino movie.
Yep. Man, so much rape. Mikey, what's your release of the month?
I am actually going with the Filipino movie too. I just thought it was super strong. I mean, the subject material on it was like rough, but like it was so well done, and it's kind of one of those movies where you get done with it. And it's just like it was so just executed perfectly. It's kind of a chilling story, and it didn't have to like that. The considering what was taking place, it could have been graphic, but it didn't need to be. And I'm always impressed when like a movie can get across that sentiment and kind of give you that like gross, icky feeling with what's going on without even having to show it. It's an art form to do it like that. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, sometimes more is less, right? When you imply shit, it gets you thinking. And
You mean the opposite?
yeah,
Less is more.
did I say more is less?
Yeah.
More is less.
So I
In
never
that
mentioned.
movie, yes.
I never mentioned, but I'm dyslexic. No, I'm not actually. That was just a total fuck up. I'm an idiot. I'm just an
Yeah, and like I don't even say it to me like because I love over the top stuff too, like graphic gore and all that stuff too. But like sometimes a movie comes along where it can almost give you that same feeling without it, and to me that just really reflects like the art of being able to tell a story.
Yeah, I like both angles. Like, sometimes I love to see just straight up blatant shit, and then sometimes when they showcase it in such a subdued style, and it gets you thinking, you're like, oh fuck. Well, that's
and they
crazy.
knock it out of the park.
It adds kind of like that human element to where it almost feels like you're watching like actual real life depicted on the screen.
But it made for a good conversation. But it made for a good
Mm-hmm.
conversation because, like, I think most of us were in the same boat, maybe with the exception of Tyler, about how, the ownership part where we're like, okay, that it's kind of this like some incest thing there, but it's still open for interpretation, right? Like there's still a conversation there, right? So I think that's actually really interesting. I like that about the film. I mean, if we could find out one way or the other if it was implied, that would be amazing if someone could find some. But I think personally that it was, he diddled his daughter. So, but that's the way I think.
Agreed.
Tony.
And agreed, Kisapmata to me is by far the release of the month. That movie just completely fucking blew me away.
Fair enough, JP.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I think that the double feature Cat 3 titles are fun and could have been a release of the week. Or release of the month had
It could have been the release. Look at him dissing it. It could have been a release of the week, but not the month.
Like release of the month had the Devil Fetus been like a little bit better maybe. But yeah, I'm going with the movie I can't pronounce.
Kisapmata.
Well, fuck you guys. I'm going home.
Sweet.
Double feature for me, guys. So just to break it up, and the reason for it though is because Kisapmata or whatever it is, Kisapmata. I thought it was a great film, and it's probably the best movie here. But that's something I'm going to revisit in 10 years. This I might revisit very, very soon. Her Vengeance, I loved.
Yeah, I
could
great. See that as well, like the revisiting factor. But
yeah,
I also think that I factored in just like the fact that I guess this was like a complete like unknown thing as well.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, good pick though.
Even though I'd never heard of Her Vengeance before, to be honest. So that was kind of a new one to me.
It sounded really generic. Like I'm like, isn't that something Scream Factory released?
Yeah.
I think one, it's the unknown factor. Two, for me, it's like it's the movie that left the imprint in my brain the most. Whereas the double features were fun movies, but like we could all probably list off like 20 other movies that are like similar that like are as fun that cover the same ground. But to me, when I was done with Kisapmata, I was just like, holy shit, like that's kind of like it just kind of stood out to me like, holy shit. Like,
yeah, if you're going with unique and best made, like there's different ways of looking at it, but like I said, I'm really into the Cat 3 shit right now. Like I went out of my way to watch the erotic ghost story films, and like those are fucking fun. Like I just watched all three like 2 weeks ago or whatever. Because the third one is from 1992, so I was like, well, I need to watch part 1 and 2. So I had to do all three of them. So, but which is funny because when we did 91, I didn't have access to it, so I never watched it. So that was kind of funny. So that was kind of like a backwatch, but yeah. So release of the month. So what are we doing next month? Release or review wise?
Go ahead, Tyler.
What are you doing?
Next month, I will finally be getting off the Asian train, and I'm going to be doing the Distrapix release of Last Tango in Paris.
Do you not have your package yet?
I have it. I forgot it downstairs.
Oh yeah, you're fucking lame. All right.
I
Mike,
bought the standard of that.
Oh yeah, Mike, you won't be able to show it.
Because that was like $8 cheaper. I'm like, why the fuck do I want to pay $8 for a piece of cardboard?
Because it's very sexual. It's funny.
Tony, what are you doing?
Igor and the Lunatics.
Oh yeah, right.
The newest VSA trauma movie. Very stoked. This comes with an unreleased cut. What is it? That's 92 minutes.
I didn't know that.
13 minutes longer.
Oh,
Bloodshed,
man.
the original and much longer edit, making its home video debut.
That's cool.
And I am watching both versions.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time, so
Well,
I'm curious to
Yeah, because we watched it for 85, so
yeah, that was a while ago.
that was the last time I watched it. Yeah. JP, what are you doing?
Yeah, I got completely burnt out on movies involving people eating people, so I'm doing Bone Sickness.
So he's doing Bone Sickness. Yeah. Guess what? Guess what? There's people eating people in that movie. No.
Yeah, but
That's like a quote to put on the thumbnail.
I was thinking about doing Murder Rock, just because it is a Fulci that I've never seen. But Bone Sickness I had on DVD for fucking years and literally never watched it, and was like, well, since I'm fucking buying this, I might as well finally watch it since I own 2 copies of it now. So
Yeah.
I'm doing Bone Sickness.
Yeah, Bone Sickness is fucking awesome. I actually can't wait to see.
It looks pretty awesome. Honestly, I was
really
looking
good.
at some of the pictures, and also, I usually dig the Saturn's core stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot of damn features on it though. So I'll try to get the features next
I
month
saw
since I
that.
was light up on it this month. But yeah, so Bone Sickness.
They load their shit up way more than any other sub.
Dude,
Yeah, they do.
They are the most underrated label out, man. Like the way that their releases are insane. So I'm going with something a little more modern, which is so weird for me. And I'm going to do Magnet's release of Severance because I love this movie and I can't wait to rewatch it.
It's so stupid because I literally just watched that movie like the week before it was announced.
Yeah, a Blu-ray release of Severance, man. Shit,
I
can get
can't
rid of
wait
my
to watch
DVD
it
now.
again.
I think I just got rid of my DVD actually.
Yeah, that's a Magnet title, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was this when Magnet first like joined. That was the type of movies we were hoping to see from them.
Yeah, and they haven't disappointed yet. We've gotten this, Last Circus, and Murder Party.
Right? Yeah, they're doing better than that. IFC.
Fuck
like
yeah.
the
I don't know if I bought a single IFC movie yet.
I think the only one I got was Auto Erotic, the Adam Wingard movie. But I do know I like Snowtown, I'm iffy on. Like it's like if I hadn't recently watched it for 2011 in the last couple of years, I might have been more inclined to get it because it is like a movie that I'll revisit every so often, like 10 years or something. But and it is notable. What was the other ones? The 422 or whatever. That's like the end of the world movie. With what the hell's his name? Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't even really
Cannibal
remember
Girls
what else they
movie.
put out.
Yeah, and that one I've seen that one before, the Willem Dafoe film. It's like solid, but like again, I just watched it like in the last like couple years. So I think that was another 2011 film actually. So I just like wasn't interested at all because it's kind of not the best movie anyway. So yeah, IFC has been kind of disappointing with their titles so far.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I mean, like you probably said, Magnet's been killing it.
Yeah, we said Magnet is 3 for 3 with theirs.
Yeah.
But is that everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, the featured review.
Oh yeah, what are we doing? This is the feature.
We totally forgot the feature.
Oh, I
The
think
nesting, right?
it is the nesting.
Yeah, we are doing the nesting, which I've never seen. So
I'm excited about that because that's also a different cut. So it's like
Oh,
you don't even have to
nice.
get rid of your Blue Underground Blu-rays because this one's completely different.
You know what's actually funny? I never upgraded my Blue Underground DVD for the nesting, and I had it in my cart for years. And then Vinegar Syndrome announced this, and I was like, "What the fuck?
Take it out
Perfect!
the cart.
Oh, it's fucking amazing."
Yeah, I actually don't own that movie, nor have I never seen it. It's one. I mean, I have like a lot of Blue Underground titles, but that's one I just never grabbed. Um, so complete like fresh for me, which is always nice. Actually, all four of the main releases, five, with Igor. Um, I've never because there's two on the Devil Doll and Curse of Voodoo. Yeah, so I don't own any of that stuff. That was pretty nice haul this month.
I gotta say, man, I really like that new commissioned artwork on that slipcover.
Mm-hmm.
I like the color
do
scheme.
too.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it looks like some like
It's a good
altered shit or
contrast
something.
because this is like so classic 1981. Is that
Yeah.
not the most classic 81 artwork? Like,
I love that art.
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's been forever since I watched it. I remember it being a little bit slow. Like, it's kind of,
It's definitely like a
Yeah.
weekend afternoon type movie.
yeah, it's very kind of foreboding and like, yeah, it's slow. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a bit. So,
They label it as a supernatural slasher, but there's really not much of a slasher in it. So
Right.
don't get your hopes up.
so nobody picked Murder Rock.
But they do that often. Vinegar Syndrome.
Exactly.
They
This
look
is
on
another
everything
one.
under the sun of slasher. But and then actually we have the May announcements a week from today's recording day, which is pretty cool. And is there any like teases on what's coming out?
I think there is a
You can
list
look it
for
up
that.
real quick.
I think it's pretty cool, man. The last month that Devil Doll got released because that was that's two of my picks from the Hidden Gem show that have been released now.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a UHD debut of a 70s horror masterpiece,
Whoa.
UHD debut of a 90s horror classic,
Yo,
plus 2 secret surprise UHDs,
damn.
which I don't think there's any hints on those yet.
Yeah.
70s classic and a 80s classic. Is that what it said?
90s.
90s
I'm
classic.
I'm very curious on the 90s one
What
because
can the 90s one be?
A lot of people are saying The Relic.
Oh, that's not a
Oh
90s
yeah, I've heard people
classic.
say that.
I'll be pissed if it's Relic, dude. I
Dude,
don't even like that movie.
dude, it literally better not be the Relic.
That's like the late ass 90s too.
No, the Relic is like 95, isn't it?
Seven.
90, 96? Yeah, is it 97?
I can't remember. I haven't seen that movie since the 90s. I barely even remember it.
It's maybe it'll be better. I mean, the DVD that I had was always so damn dark you could never see the monster. I'd
I
be
know it's
mad
got
if
my boy in it,
Relic.
Clayton Roner. I've got a man crush on that dude.
Man, I'm not even joking, dude. I literally have the Relic in my actual shopping cart right now. Like that's so it's just giving me that information. I'm not gonna because I was like,
Yeah,
going
you
through my-
might want to wait a week.
Yeah,
Isn't that the Weinstein's movie? Isn't that like a Dimension film?
I'm
I
not
have no
sure.
idea.
I'm not sure actually. I don't think they made
I
the
could be
Relic,
wrong.
did they? No, I don't
I
think
could
they
be
did.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What the hell could the 70s one be?
Maybe I'll just grab the Ninth Gate. I have that in my cart right now. I just want to upgrade it. I like that Polanski film.
It's a Paramount. So yeah, that actually fucking could be
If it's the
pick
Relic, I'm
because-
Watch
I'd be
out.
so mad if I
Here
because
got
they've
the
it.
been
Relic.
releasing a lot of Paramount shit.
Stop buying shit. Come on. Even though it was a Blu-ray. It's just an upgrade for me.
All right. Is that it?
That it, man? Yeah, so the nesting, yeah. I guess that's it. I guess that's it for the show. Mikey, thanks for coming on, man. You want to plug anything when where people can find the shows and when they can listen and
Yeah, so we do a weekly show called Fresh Cuts where we cover new releases. Usually it's going to be whatever hit the theater that week, but once in a while, no theater picks, so we'll get something on VOD. Latest episode available now is on Sinners. And
Nice.
by the time people hear this show, probably we'll have either done an episode on Until Dawn or Cronenberg's latest, The Shrouds. We'll have to pick one.
I'm curious on the Cronenberg one. His last film was really disappointing, but I thought I saw the trailer to this one and it looked a little more interesting.
I'm stoked for it.
I'm gonna try to fit them both in because I just am interested. I think I'm gonna go see The Shrouds tomorrow, and then I usually get with Venom like on the chats just in case like one of them was like so bad that we just want to be like we don't even want to talk about it. Yeah.
I've got high hopes for Until Dawn.
Sometimes those conversations are the funnest
Dawn?
when they suck.
It's the video game one.
adaptation of
It's
the video game
based
Until
off
Dawn.
it's like a choose your own adventure video game.
It's like a little slasher type thing.
Yeah, if they manage to make
Cabin
it
in the
pretty
Woodsy type
faithful,
shit.
it has potential to be good. Like as long as they capture kind of the essence of the game.
Man,
It's just
I was shocked. I looked at my theater and we're actually getting that movie Until Dawn tomorrow. And I know nothing about it. So for me, I'm not going to be one of those people like, oh, it's not, it's not like the game. It's not, it's a good,
that part of it means nothing to me.
I have no idea. So I'm just going to see it as a movie.
Something to me. Wait,
Well,
you're
that's
the
what I'm saying.
motherfucker that hated on Death Note because it was nothing like the game. Or the
Dude, he
book.
hates
Death
he hates
Note's not a
Wingard
game.
because he can't even
Yeah,
handle
right.
any Wingard because of Death Note. Like that's fucked up. One movie ruined an entire.
He wants
person
to
for him.
kill him.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit for making that. Stand by what I said.
Dude, everybody has made pieces of shit in their career. Look at fucking
no,
like.
he's a piece of shit for making
Oh,
it.
he's a piece of shit. But like, I mean, come on. A lot of directors have made pieces of shit though. But
I don't care. He's gonna live with what he did.
That's wild. But yeah, Mike, thanks for coming on. If you ever want to come back, Vinegar Syndrome always, except for certain months, always releases their titles on the first. We usually pick what we're doing on that day. We have an order of picking, but we'll usually let the guests kind of choose first. But I think we didn't know that you were coming on.
well, with Dan, it's
Until
different
after
because
we
he
picked.
reviews porn, and none of us buy or review porn, so he always gets his choice on
Oh
porn.
yeah, I guess that it's not really first. It's just nobody else is picking.
No one's picking porn. So I mean, we technically could, but I'm not really a porn person. I wouldn't even know how to review porn. I'm like, wow, her muff was really nice.
Well, the thing is that those
That was a good
films
cum
were
shot?
actually
I don't know.
movies back then.
I watched the last one that he did, and like the actual scenes were just shot so poorly. Like they were all like extreme close-up shots,
Mhm.
like old like Ren and Snippy cartoons. It was like disgusting to watch.
Was it more awkward than Reflections of Black?
It was so gross. Like they would have like a complete disgusting up close shot of a woman's pussy, but it would be so like completely like detailed and up close. You could see like pieces of like toilet paper.
Ew.
Oh.
I
That's
swear,
that's a
there
good
were-
transfer.
Yeah.
In more ways than one, really.
It was crazy. Yeah, that guy didn't know how to shoot sex.
That's disgusting, man. I can't watch shit like that. It's gross.
Does the toilet
Um,
paper look
I had to
look
fast forward
mashed
those
like
scenes.
potatoes?
That's
Oh my
disgusting.
god, shut up.
Oh,
So,
But anyways,
yeah,
thanks for the invite.
actually, never mind on that.
it definitely got me out of my comfort zone because I wouldn't classify myself as a collector like you guys are.
I know, but I've noticed you started collecting more lately. I feel
Well,
like
it's not that I don't buy movies anymore, but I kind of stick to like when some of like my all-time favorites or just movies I have loved through the years hit 4K. I'll buy them, but like I haven't really been like a blind buyer in like years. So coming on a show like this kind of got me out of the comfort zone and just said, hey, go kind of read up. And if it sounds interesting, take the plunge. So it was fun.
cool.
I mean, it's
That's
getting to the point, even with like, when we get our Vinegar Syndrome packages and stuff, like, at least for me, like, I get a package with 8 films and I've seen probably 6 or 7 of them, right? There's the odd one in there, but like, I trust the company that's releasing it. So that's the collector and us, I guess, but it is what it is. But yeah, like
But
this one.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot. I would say when I get these packages, it's more like half for me. Like sometimes I've seen like half of them and then half I haven't. So it's still pretty exciting for me, I guess.
I mean, like something like this right here, like, oh, those are all upgrades. That was one package.
Yeah.
But this one right here, did you get this one, Tony?
No.
Yeah, it's a
I
V8
didn't
shit
either.
fest. It sounded really interesting to me. I
I
mean,
don't think I did.
everything that they've released so far has been so interesting.
I think
Really-
that's like the first one in a long time I've skipped from them.
Yeah, it just looked really weird and interesting to me. So we'll see. They're not all hits. We know that, but it is what it is.
Sometimes they are shit fests.
Saturn's Core though, man, for like having like 50 films now they've released. They did that one shitty documentary, and I think that's really the only major miss. Some of the movies are better than others, obviously, but nothing I would toss out. So, but anyways, that's going to conclude episode 4, season 2 of the SYN Bin podcast. Thank you for watching, listening, and we would really appreciate if you guys drop some damn comments. We like the we like the feedback. I like to respond. It's mostly me. You guys generally don't chime in every once in a while. Every once in a while. I mean, even the 22 shots. I try to respond to every comment now because I feel like that's what I need to do. So,
yeah.
Even if I'm saying Charz or Gia, it is what it is. But I'll still I'll get in. I'll respond.
If you guys want to say mean things about Tyler, that's totally fine as well.
How could you not? He's wearing a Sharks hat. It's like the worst fucking team.
I know, bro.
Like,
come on, Sharks hat.
They won
dude,
20
Santa.
games this year.
Wait, that's actually Mike's team, I think, isn't it? Is this the Sharks your team?
Yeah.
Dude, that's
He's
brutal.
like,
All
I was
I'll see
hoping no
how
one
better
would bring that
Sharks
shit
fans
up,
than Mike.
but y'all save that shit to the end.
That's the lasting impression.
Speaking of hockey, man, at least one tonight. Oh yeah, up.
I know the East is fucking slaughterfest over there. It's all favorites, I think, winning.
Well, like
Yeah.
I called the Oilers losing to the Kings, though, man. Everyone's like, the Oilers are going to take it. I'm like, nope. I said the Kings are going to beat them.
This is definitely not the Oilers year, for sure.
Yeah,
He's giving up 12 goals in 2 games, bro. It's brutal.
Like,
Brutal.
I have them like picked like 11th out of the 16 teams to win it, and it's like even being at 11th, it's like I feel weird like betting against McDavid like that, but it's like this team is really bad outside of those two right now.
honestly, this first round has been a little bit boring. Having the round 2 is like more.
Well, the Leafs
Interesting.
series has been actually pretty good, man. It's been a rough series.
Yeah, that's been one of the better one, even though it's 3-0.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways, guys, that's going to do it. We're out of here. And as usual, deuces!
peace.